First class, Ibuka Ofiabulu. And for all of you here in the paddock, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. And again, we extend a big thank you to the Greg Patterson Air Force Base for joining us here at the Ohio Grand Prix to present our nation's colors. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls watching on from here in the paddock, watching on from home, welcome to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati for the third round of the United States Pro Kart Series. It's time to go racing. The Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati KartPlex, presented by Kart Class, a track that's just under a mile long here, Bradley. It has given us plenty of passing opportunities just about anywhere. Run us down a lap of this place.
So let's talk about a lap here. You start out on the front stretch out of 13. It's a long run down, and then it's a nice left into turn 1, hard braking zone into turn 2, cut back right to turn 3. You're running back down the stretch to turn 4, hard on the brakes through, little bit of twisty bits in the middle, and then another passing opportunity into turn 5. You hit 6, 7, 8, 9, bottom of the hill at 9. Not usually a passing zone this weekend, though, here at USPKS. Everyone's made moves in every class into turn 9. Come up the hill, come down the hill, down to turn 10. 180-degree corner, and then it tightens into 11 even more. If you get a good run through 10 and you cut inside, 11's an opportunity. Side by side through 12, it's not ideal, but you can get passes done. Out of 13, there's your lap.
And we are a month away from the conclusion of the United States Pro Kart Series Championship. In a month's time, we had 4 hours up the road for the Lake Erie Grand Prix to conclude and to crown some champions this year. Liam Compatiello, Dusty Strayer getting ready to go racing here in Micro Swift. The first main event of the evening, the first main events of the weekend, the Ohio Grand Prix, moments away from going green.
Come on, man.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America, use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
The Perico Energy Drink countdown to green now at 0. It's time to go racing with Team Ferris Racing Micro Swift for the first main event of the evening. And without further ado, let's run you down how this main is getting ready to go green. Dusty Strayer for Speed Concepts Racing is going to share row number 1 with Braxton Shiflett on the Parallel Motorsports number 14, Jack Katowski and Liam Compatiello. On row number 2, Tristan Francisco and Trace Sanders. On row number 3 with Emmett Dalton and Franco Schiavo. On row number 4, your top 5 rows, your top 10 starters have the likes of Bo White and Bryson Barnett.
Harrison Appel in P11 with Brody Algretta in P12. Bernardo Nascimento in P13 with Kip Knaus in P14. Chase Solman 15th. Rodolph Garza in 16th. James Laser in 17th. Winston Dickin in 18th. And Hartford Ellis, the 19 karts to take on this Micro Swift by Team Ferris Racing final.
Round number 3. The Ohio Grand Prix from Micro Swift. It ends 18 laps from now. This is the first one of many that we'll see today. Dusty Strayer looking to take a win here at MCC. The same for Shiflett, who took the fight to him yesterday in the Superheat. 19 drivers, 19 Micro Swifts getting ready to go to war. And Dusty Strayer has them all at a crawl. They're getting ready to head into the tram lines in this moment. The tension, the nerves just continue to rise for all of these drivers. But into the tram lines we go. All eyes on the lights. Reporter Weisencell. They're all lined up. Micro Swift is underway from Ohio.
and through turn 2 and 3 we go, and Strayer able to hold on to the front there with Shiflett holding through. Katowski looking to make some moves early into third place and hold on to third place. That outside line so hard to start here at MCC in some of these classes. Unless you're in shifter on that standing start, the outside line is not the way to go. Some mix-ups in mid-pack here. You've got some crossovers from Emmett Dalton trying to make some moves on Sanders to move forward. But as we hit the bottom of the hill, up, down through 11, up towards 12, everybody away.
Keep an eye on Bo White and the number 51 Bennick. He was the driver that had a couple of heat wins to his name. He was able to qualify on the pole for the fastest lap yesterday. And a little moment here for Liam Compatiello headed into turn 13. Sees Tristan Francisco just kind of getting on the back of his teammate. You see Francisco there kind of shaking his head as they're working their way and back onto the front stretch. Lap number 1 completed. And really no big movers outside of Franco Schiavo getting himself up to 7th. Barnett followed him. Allegretta was up 3 at the start. And Bo Wyatt lost 1, who's down to 10th. The driver who in Heat 1 and Heat 2 had a great result, but in Heat race number 3, which was the super heat, it all kind of came undone for the 51. Now looking to race his way through this field. He's got Emmett Dalton right behind him. Driver who started alongside him. Got the first 2 heats. They sit 10th and 11th, respectively, with Allegretta right ahead of them in the 17.
You know, it was Wyatt and Allegretta who came into contact together. That is what caused the DNF for both of those drivers, because it was contact lap 4, turn 13 that shook things up. And look at the moves a bit farther back. It looks like Wyatt trying to get some moves. We've got moves up front for the lead as Shiflett passes Strayer. So lap 2, drivers already taking the gloves off. Some small moves here and there as we see things shuffle. It is a move up. Now Shiflett leads Strayer going to the end of lap number 2 to start lap number 3. And right now, everyone else, I think, still finding their footing here for these 18 laps.
And now Bo White looking to get another move done on the 25 there of Bryson Barnett. He's going to get it done into turn number 2. You can promote the SCUSA Pro Tour champion up another spot. And up at the front, a different look. Talked about Shiflett making them pass for the lead in turn number 12 over Dusty Strayer. Now it's going to cost Strayer here another one. Jack Katowski inside of 7. He's clear, and Strayer's going to lose another one. Tristan Francisco through for 3rd.
Great moves from the top 5 here. You know, yesterday looking through, this is one of the classes of several that can press down, move down for 2nd in response, though, and that is the 20 of Francisco making the move down to the inside. Watch out for that 48, though, of Compatiello making a great move there, trying to get past Katowski into 13 and 14, not able to get the move done, and now running down the front stretch we go. Shiflett able to get a little bit of breathing room here in the front as Strayer, Katowski, Francisco, Compatiello all battle. That does allow Shiflett that all-important half a second to breathe, and that is going to be big for whoever's in front. Second place back battles, you just need to stay head down and go, and don't focus on behind, because that's exactly what happens down the backstretch. They get right back to the back of you.
And you see that move as well, because it all started, Katowski started that lap, or was running in 2nd, and the pass from Francisco now, who's just gone to the lead, the pass from Francisco and Strayer, you know, they went through, moved Francisco back to 4th, and then Compatiello was sitting there also wanting to go from 5th to try and get up another spot after getting shuffled back himself, and just couldn't get it done. Now they lost a little bit of time. Now it's going to close back in with Tristan going to the front. It'll be again, the first time Francisco leads in this main event, the first time he's led in quite some time this weekend, putting his Nitro kart for Ryan Perry Motorsports up at the front, and an eye on Bo Wyatt as well, because he's starting to close in on Franco Schiavo and Trey Sanders that are just ahead of him. So the draft now going to be a factor for Bo Wyatt as he looks to close in on the 37 of Schiavo.
Bo Wyatt is very, very fast. Bo Wyatt had a great qualifying Heat 1, Heat 2 yesterday. Saturday ended on a low note. So that 51 has ultimate pace right now, was running fastest of anyone until Tristan Francisco the previous lap was able to put in a 1:03.8. And for Bo Wyatt was running 1:03.9. So, I mean, is carrying consistent, strong pace, just needs to get moves done, trying to make a move down the inside on Schiavo.
Yeah, that won't help. That won't help at all. That was, again, looking for a move on the inside and just a little bit too early, right? So you can call that almost a little bit of a half move there for Bo, but those are going to set him back. That's going to take him a little bit longer to try and join the party up here with the drivers that are inside of the top 5. It's just timing those moves, right? Being smart, being that little bit patient. If you need to, hold on for a little bit, you got to be willing to do so. He's going to go now on a turn 13. But it took him a little bit longer than he would have wanted, and I think waiting maybe just a little bit until getting back to turn 12 or even turn 13, he wouldn't have lost as much time as he did. But now he's clear. Trey Sanders is the next one on the list for him as he looks to close on into the number 3.
He's half a second back from Trey Sanders. Here's going to be where the big problem comes in. There's 2 seconds of a gap between Bo Wyatt to Liam Compatiello when they crossed the line last time through. Where is Liam Compatiello? On the back of the lead train. 2 seconds and not really a lot of help once you get past Trey Sanders. That is going to be the problem. That's where you have to weigh those pros and cons. And in Micro Swift and Mini Swift, that's something we see sometimes, that they don't necessarily weigh the pros and cons of, if I wait to pass, I won't lose as much time. I can stay closer to the front, close that gap quicker. Going for that unopportunistic move there into 6-7 doesn't help your case to get up to the front. Now you've got to make a choice here. Do you and Sanders work to the front, or do you try to pass Sanders and then try to solo He-Man it up to the front?
Yeah, Bo Wyatt's going to have to go here. He closed down to Trey Sanders quite quickly. There's now Strayer, a move into turn number 1 on Shiflett. He's going to get it done, but it's going to cost him, unfortunately. Katowski's going to respond, and Bo Wyatt now into 6th, passing Trey Sanders. Like I mentioned, he was carrying a lot more speed in the last couple of laps in comparison to Trey Sanders. He was 0.6 of a second better than Trey Sanders that lap. That was a critical move for Bo Wyatt to make at the perfect time, with the leaders also passing. So that was, again, nicely timed, and that's going to have to be the case moving forward, right? Whenever you get up to Compatiello, whenever you get up to whether it's Katowski or Strayer or Shiflett in the case now being in 4th, timing those moves perfectly for Bo Wyatt, that's going to be the key if he wants to get himself to the lead and take the fight to these 3 drivers that are on your screen right now.
It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. I always fall back to that for these runs here. And here we go, looking along. That is Sanders, that is Dalton, all now fighting through with Bo Wyatt as we go down the front stretch with your top 5, gap for 3, and then a group of 2 here, Shiflett and Compatiello. Compatiello makes the move into 1, moves up ahead of Shiflett into 4th. It's Francisco leading Katowski, leading Strayer up at the front. The Ryan Perry Motorsports cart of the number 20 of Francisco in the lead at the moment.
And here we go, we are just about to reach the halfway point to start lap number 9, and a pass for the lead for Jack Katowski in a turn number 7. He's going to put his Trinity Karting Group barrel art at the front of this field in the team's backyard. The first time he'll lead, and a little bump from behind. Francisco gets into the back of Katowski. That's going to give Dusty Strayer a run, heading into turn number 12. But it wasn't enough of a one. Francisco right behind Katowski, able to stay there, and Strayer looking like he wants to make a move into turn 13. He's going to sit patiently, but it's brought Liam Compatiello right onto the rear bumper once again, and Braxton Shiflett as well, who also hasn't lost touch with his front group. You can already see the body language of Francisco here, kind of looking like he wants to make a move. Bo Wyatt now looking to chase him down with a little help from the drivers ahead of him as Emma Dalton and Trey Sanders continue to fight for the 7th spot. And now a pass for the lead. Tristan Francisco retakes it in turn number 4.
Last time across the line, Bo Wyatt 1:03.7, Jack Katowski 1:04.2, Tristan Francisco 1:04.5. This is going to be the kind of paradox issue that we're going to have is, yes, these top 5 are quick, but they're fighting. The more they fight, the more they slow each other up. And for Bo Wyatt, the less Bo Wyatt fights, the more Bo Wyatt can focus and just continue to knock that gap down. It's a 1.5 seconds to the back of Braxton Shiflett when they crossed the line last time. As they come through this time, let's watch this graphic and how it updates, because that is not ideal for the 48 of Compatiello. A slow exit through is losing a bit of touch there with Strayer coming through as we have a black and white flag for the 37.
That's Schiavo. Schiavo's down in 11th. Schiavo, driver who we've seen running in the top 5, even fight for heat race victories already in 2026. Unfortunately, today is not his day. He is down in 12th. The first outing, to my knowledge, with the Paralympic team hasn't been the best for Schiavo. As we look at these top 5, and we looked at the closing rate of Bo Wyatt, it was about 1.5 seconds. The gap at the line, and a look at the live standings of how these drivers are running. Katowski over Tristan Francisco by 110 points. With Bo Wyatt sitting third, Trey Sanders in fourth, and Franco Schiavo, he was the driver inside of the top 5. Sanders also doesn't have the pace in this main event to try and to contend. He's still in a battle with Emmett Dalton. They are still going back and forth here for the 7th spot. Sanders holds on. And this time to the line, Bo Wyatt is going to need to find another gear. He's going to need to find another 10th a lap to try and close down to these top 5. The separation begins, and Shiflett and Compatiello continue to fight. Pass for 4th. Shiflett's clear.
8 laps to go here, and right now that thought, we've hit cross sticks, that thought is going to start hitting all these drivers of we're over halfway done in this race. It's time to really find that gear. Unfortunately, as you said there, Caleb, Bo Wyatt not able to do so. The gap has now opened. It was 1.5 seconds. It's now opened to 1.9, nearly 2 seconds now, as the top 5 have found that other gear. They've started to push it a bit more. These MG tires, they're really, really ripping through them at this point and just saying, you know what, everything this set of MG tires can give me, I am going to use it and leave it all on the pavement here at MCC as we come through. And now the 11, that is going to be Emmett Dalton picking up a black and white flag under investigation.
Yeah, him and Trey Sanders have been going back and forth for the 6th spot, or for the 7th spot, I should say, for quite some time now, and they continue to fight, Trey Sanders and Emmett Dalton. So the officials deeming, again, a little bit of the racing action in between those two drivers just a little bit over the line. They're going to keep a close eye on these two as they continue to fight. And here's a look at the differences in between Tristan Francisco, your leader, and Bo Wyatt. And that's what we were talking about, right? Lap number 7, he was a lot faster, 8/10 quicker, but that was because the leaders were fighting as much as they were. Now, after lap number 8, Wyatt has lost, a significant amount of time already. He's about 0.5 seconds back to Liam Compatiello. So for the 51, on a weekend where he was looking to contend and fight for the race win, it's unfortunately looking like it's just slipping out of his hands. And he's going to need a little bit more. He's going to need to ask a little bit more out of these top 5.
Yeah, the problem that's become really for Wyatt at this point, again, no help in front or behind right now. The gap up front continuing to expand, now 2.5 seconds, the margin between the top 5 and P6 there of Wyatt. The problem that he's ran into is the top 5 have found their rhythm. They've settled in, they're single file, they're not really fighting here at this back half of the race so far. Now watch, as soon as I say it, Katowski now starting to look for a move on Francisco, and there we go. Here's Strayer and Shiflett deciding, you know what, we're tired being 3 and 4. Let's go for 1 and 2 down the inside. Strayer passes Katowski. Katowski gives the switch back into 13 down the inside, and Shiflett says, you know what, I'll follow through, can't capitalize along, and all of that.
And nothing changed.
Move. Yeah.
Nothing changed. We're sitting there trying to pass, and nothing changed in the last lap. Everybody stayed put, trying to kind of reposition themselves inside of turn number 12 when Dusty Strayer and Braxton Shiflett wanted to be the 2 up at the front. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, right? And now Katowski has read it. He knows, that the 2 behind him are going to want to go. That's going to force a move out of the 92. That's going to, let him know, all right, I need to make a pass for the lead on Tristan Francisco at the first opportunity possible, because if not, I got 2 guys behind me that are ready to go if I don't.
Pass or be passed. We said it yesterday. I'll bring it up every class today. It's pass or be passed. And unfortunately, in Micro Swift, they don't tend to play the long game where they want to follow along a lot of times, and you'll see moves like that be attempted. Unfortunately, again, because of the nature of 12, 13, 14, 12, that 180-degree left, 13 here, even sharper left-hand turn, back to the 180 degrees to the right out of 13. You can make a move and then be crossed right back out in the go, and Micro Swift especially, a lot of times we're going to see it. Let's see a move, though, from Compatiello. Poked the nose out there to Shiflett. Wasn't able to take advantage. Here we go into 2, though. Katowski making that move that needs to be made. Francisco drops to 2nd.
Tristan Francisco now demoted a spot, and now we'll see what Dusty Strayer decides to do, whether he wants to get himself up to 2nd or is he going to wait here a little bit longer. I think it might be time for Strayer to try something. Tried earlier to go for 2nd, didn't work out. We'll see if he tries it again with a different driver, a different look in that 2nd spot. Now working their way down into turn 11. And they'd like to pass down in turn number 2 and as well into turn number 12. Strayer tried it a couple laps ago. Is he going to try it again? He won't. He'll stay in line. And at turn 13, he's going to continue to wait. And Francisco didn't get the best of exits as well there out of turn number 13. He's lost a little bit of time here to Katowski. And a look at Bo Wyatt. He is still, again, about 3/10 a lap slower than these leaders. Now for Francisco, looking to pass for the lead, and he will. Turn number 2, Katowski's going to try and cross him up. They're side by side on the exit of 3. Katowski on the outside. 2 tires into the dirt. Dusty Strayer goes to the lead with Francisco on the inside, who holds on for 2nd. Shiflett to 3rd. Katowski back to 4th, trying to hold on to the outside of turn number 3 as they were passing for the lead. Katowski survives for now.
And that is where that turn 3 comes in so well out of turn 2. You can try to go to the inside of turn 2, but then you end up outside of turn 3, which can change things significantly. And ultimately there for the 12 of Strayer was just right place, right time, as Francisco Katowski kind of got in a misalignment there and miscommunication. Katowski runs off track, and Strayer says, all right, I'll scoot up the inside of turn number 3, the right-hander, and don't mind if I go through into the lead here. Popsicle 6 in the air, 2 laps to go. Let's see Francisco again here up to the point. Strayer down to 2nd. That run down the front stretch proving to give a great draft so far. Francisco up front. Strayer with a nose ahead going towards 3, trying to get a move and trying to go again to the inside here as Francisco defends great. Strayer tries to switch him back here, going through, not able to. Top 5 now battling it out hard.
And now Francisco on the inside. Strayer looking to rip the high side. Look at Braxton Shiflett. He's going to have a run. Strayer's off the racetrack. Strayer's off on the exit of turn 7. He holds on, but it's Francisco who is still in the lead. Shiflett in 2nd. Katowski to Compatiello and Bo Wyatt. They can very well bring him back into play here, and they continue to fight the way they are right now. Shiflett a little wide in 12. Katowski's going to sweep down low. Compatiello going to follow through for 3rd. Now Francisco defending into 14. Katowski got a much better exit. He got a much better run onto the front stretch. Katowski is going to take the lead coming out of the final corner. And onto the front stretch, we start the final lap into Micro Swift.
This can end any way for the top 5, and Compatiello has contact there with the 14 of Shiflett. Unfortunately, they're able to get it together. Shiflett drops down behind Strayer. Now up front, Katowski, Francisco 1 and 2. Katowski defends inside here in the TKG. The number 20 of Francisco tries to go wide through, wants to switch back, not able to do so. Compatiello holding 3rd place right now. It wants to go and defend inside into 3rd. Around the outside, Strayer tries to make it work. Strayer drops a wheel off, but doesn't lose time coming into the last half of the lap.
Here we go, last half a lap. Katowski defensive into turn 11. That's going to give Francisco a good run up and into turn number 12. They're side by side as well for 3rd. Shiflett, Compatiello, Strayer, and Katowski just needs to hold on for 3 more corners. He goes to the bottom. Strayer looking on the inside, contact for 3rd. Shiflett holds on. Strayer still in 4th, and the run to the line. Tristan Francisco is going to try and chase down Jack Katowski. Katowski is in the lead. He's going to try and deny Francisco. He doesn't. Tristan Francisco steals it at the line. He wins the Ohio Grand Prix. .009 between Francisco and Katowski. That is a blink of an eye difference through. Braxton Shiflett to 3rd, Dusty Strayer 4th, Liam Compatiello 5th, and Bo Wyatt did get to the back of them, but too late on the final lap, unfortunately,
for that Team Bennett kart to capitalize through Emmett Dalton, Trey Sanders, Kip Knaus, and Brody Algretta, your top 10.
Tristan Francisco back-to-back here at the United States Pro Kart Series. He won the Indiana Grand Prix in dominant fashion. He wins the Ohio Grand Prix in spectacular fashion. The run to the line gives the number 20 a victory, and I'm not sure if he's even celebrated yet. I'm not even sure if he knows it. But the Nitro Kart for Ryan Perry Motorsport is victorious here in Cincinnati. What a drive out of T to get it done. Katowski gave it his all, but it wasn't enough. Francisco, your winner in a Micro Swift.
What a drive for Tristan Francisco. How exciting was that one?
It was really exciting. The whole weekend we were having just a bit of problems with the engine, and pretty much it. But my mechanic, Tom, Jake Manalio's dad, and my dad were just trying to do everything, and yeah.
Well, great job there. You were able to just squeeze it by across the line to get the win here in Micro.
And again, Tristan Francisco giving the props to everybody who's made it possible for him here this weekend. He's our first main event winner of the evening, the first of many that we'll have throughout the day. Francisco wins on Sunday. K100 Junior now getting ready to go racing, presented by BBS Racing Engines. Travis Pettit is going to lead them to the green flag here. He's on the inside. Lucas Palacio to his outside. KA100 Junior is not going to get the start on the first time of asking, which gives us a time to run down a little bit further down your starting grid. Travis Pettit, Lucas Palacio, we talked about them. BJR, RPG on row number 1 with Tristan Murphy and Braden Wagner cheering row number 2. Marco Salmon and Darren Kidd on row number 3. Marco Salmon issues today in the warm-up session. He is A-OK, getting ready to go back going with Callan Berghoff and William Veeder on row number 4. And then back to row number 5 with Benja Fernandez and Julian Rivera.
It's going to be Lorenco Valera in P11 with Isaac Payne in the Hoax kart in P12. Nico Katowski, the TKG in P13 with Dominic Monskalenko in P14. El Fonte into 15th, and then Lucas Carrega 16th. Nathan Golseth, Santiago Orioli, Lucas DeBry, and Mauro Nario. Your top 20 here in a total of 26 karts.
26 drivers total, and all eyes are on the 829 of Travis Pettit, who is getting ready to lead this field. And the lights are out. KA100 Junior is underway. A little bit of contact further back in this field. A couple of the Orsolons getting together. But so far, so good. Travis Pettit retains the lead. Palacio as well. A good start from the outside to slot into second.
Great run there for the start of Travis Pettit and Palacio going in the front here. It's going to be the game of getting past Travis Pettit. Was very, very quick yesterday here in KA Junior. Wasn't able to snag any of the heat or the super heat wins. Heat 1 went to Nico Katowski. Heat 2 went to Marco Samet, with Murphy 8 milliseconds behind, and Lucas Palacio on a chaotic end of the super heat was able to pick up the win.
So it begins. Travis Pettit is stacking them all up. We've got about 15 of them. We've lost one of the RRCs. Further back, I'm not sure if it looks like Elefante is still running. Could have been either him or Moskalenko. One of the ones that we lost, and it was the 888 that has not crossed. And that was indeed Dominic Moskalenko on the Rocket Racing Company OTK. And now a pass for a second. Tristan Murphy looking on the inside of Palacio. He's going to get it. Samet looking to follow. He's not going to get it. So a little change there for a second. Palacio only lost one in the process. And Callan Berghofer, another one of the BJRs, now arriving on the scene. It's taken him all day yesterday. Qualified out of the slow group. Raced his way through the field in all of the races yesterday, both of the heat races and in the super heat. And now finally getting himself inside of the top 5.
And getting up here to the front with BJR now 1, 4, and 5 is going to be very important for Berghofer. Find some friends to work with here as we go side by side up in the mid-pack along, still battling through the 823 there. Golseth getting the worst of it through Elefante, Katowski, and Veeder all in the mix of that battle as they go 2 by 2 across the line now. Golseth leads Valera, leads Katowski, leads Veeder in the battle for P9. And this is going to be one of the things here. This mid-pack, they're not going to rest at all. The Karts up front, though, in Junior, they definitely seem to know follow the leader is the way to go early.
And I tell you what, Callan Berghofer, with that pass by on Lucas Palacio, has put himself up to 3rd. And this is a Callan Berghofer that is making moves. He's being confident about them, not thinking twice. And this is, I think, the best, really, first 3 laps that I've seen Callan Berghofer ever drive in any of the races that we've seen him so far this year on the National Series. Determined to get up to the front. And you see the fastest lap of the race out of Callan. He's going to mix things up here as Pettit, again, at the bottom of the racetrack on Tristan Murphy, back in turn number 12. And Pettit, all he's doing is stacking them all up just for Berghofer to pick them off one by one. Keep an eye on this. Pettit again to the bottom. Murphy's going to follow, and here come the rest of the RPGs. Braden Wagner just went through. Samet looking to rip the high side. He did it yesterday. He's going to do it again today on his teammate. Through for 3rd goes Marco Samet ripping the high side.
And Samet timing that perfectly.
Oof.
Ripped the inside into 4 and 5, though. A great move. Samet past Murphy up to 2nd place. BJR 1 and 2. Travis Pettit, I think your teammate back there, Marco Samet, is feeling quick early on.
Yeah, I don't know what Austin Miles, Paulie Massimino, and the entire BJR crew fed their 3 junior drivers up at the front of this field this morning. But whatever it is, it's definitely working. Samet making some great moves outside, inside. Through for 2nd. Berghofer as well to get himself up there and get caught by surprise. He's going to get caught by surprise again by 2 of the RPGs. Wagner went through, Palacio went through, and now it's back to the drawing board here for Callan as Katowski's going to look now on Benja Fernandez, and he's going to find it. He's clear. Slots himself in a line behind Darren Kidd.
Top 9 all nose to tail right now as they sit. Top 10 actually all nose to tail as they sit along. Not necessarily bumper to bumper, but there is enough breathing room between each that they can think a little bit here. And that is going to be important for the juniors, not being bumper to bumper and having a little bit of maneuvering room, a little bit of room to kind of think your way through and not feel like you're 100% under pressure, but you are under pressure from behind from every one of these karts. Somebody is going to get impatient and go to make the move. And when they do that, how do you respond? Here we go for 2nd place. Murphy to the inside of Samet. Let's swap it up here. And can Wagner follow through? The answer is yes. The RPG up into P3.
Braden Wagner quickly taking advantage of Marco Samet being off the racing line. And he's going to promote himself another spot up to 3rd. And you see Samet kind of pointing forward, wanting to get back and wanting to get away from Palacio, and he's going to do so, or try to do so, in turn number 2, and he will. He goes by on Wagner. Now here goes Berghofer. Palacio wanted to pass his teammate. That didn't work, and it helped Marco Samet. Now Palacio's going to pass into turn number 4. The 2 BJRs, the 2 RPGs going back and forth, and there's one lone RPM there, one lone TKG Barrel Art in that lead pack, and one lone Holtz DD Machine and Darren Kidd all looking to mix things up.
Watch out for Tristan Murphy right now.
Oh,
we've had a moment, 8:16 to 8:28.
Yeah, two together here towards the back of the field. That was just on the edge of your top 20, Milo Gibaldi and Achilles Sapirko. Both drivers have gotten together. Cameron, we'll head on down to you. We'll head down to Cameron here in a little bit. We're passing for the lead. Travis Pettit, Tristan Murphy.
They headed out for this main event. Diego said he was feeling a little bit tense with having Nico start that deep in the field, but the pace is evident. They said they were quickest in warm-up. They had pace every single session. Just some bad situational settings happened throughout the heats that ultimately affected Nico. And Diego wanted to see a little bit more aggression out of him early on, and I think that's what we're seeing here. He's been able to get himself up into a solid spot on the bumper of these top 5 guys. We'll see what he'll be able to do. We still have a lot of racing left here, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron, and apologies for that as well. But here we go. Travis Pettit has stacked them all up here, and he's talking about Igor Katowski just having to get his elbows out here a little bit in this race, right? Having to make those moves a little bit sooner. And with, again, Pettit going to the low side for a couple of corners consecutively, it has brought a lot of them just really close together. Murphy was kind of getting tripped up, and he backed off a little bit. Palacio there as well, and here's a look at that pass for the lead. Samet looking to rip the high side, and you see just all of them stacking up, all of them getting together. And I'm not sure if it was Pettit clipping the curb there on the inside or what kind of got them all out of shape, because Samet lost a good number of spots, and Darren Kidd looking to pass Samet as Samet's trying to get back in line. It all is just kind of bobbled and misplaced a lot of them. But here goes Wagner into turn 12. A late lunge. He's going to get it. Katowski will too. So Murphy's back to 5th.
That move into turn 2 echoes very strongly what we saw in K Senior, our next class up, of Caden McQueen yesterday in heat number 1 on Pauly Massimino and on James Overbeck. I don't know if maybe that was inspired. These junior drivers do watch back the heats of some of our upper classes. Dive to the inside for Katowski on Wagner into turn 2. Gets that pass done. Now the TKG up into P3. Watch Katowski here into the end. I definitely think that Heat 1 winner can be feeling really good, but I do really think that for Murphy, unfortunately down to 5th when they cross the line, I wouldn't count out Murphy at all here. Tristan Murphy is 0.008 off of the win in heat number 2. I think has a chance here in K100 Junior because we're only approaching half distance.
Yeah, well, here we go. We're about to complete lap number 9 of 20. Pettit again at the bottom of the racetrack with Palacio right behind him. Katowski in 3rd. Wagner in 4th. Murphy in 5th. And again, Pettit just going low in a 12 is really causing everybody behind him a hard time. And he's playing that perfectly, using that strategy kind of to his own benefit. And now Katowski's the one who's really benefited, I think, more than anybody else that's behind him. He has made passes consecutively. As Pettit goes to the bottom on the backstretch in 12, Katowski's been able to just pick them off. He got Murphy like that, he got Wagner, and he got Palacio. And now we'll see when it, goes back to him. He's going to be the first one. That's going to be right behind Travis Pettit in turn number 12. Whether Pettit knows it or not, the Burrell Art's going to be right behind him. And he doesn't know for now. Now he does, as Katowski wanted to have a lunge in a 12. Pettit quickly closed the door. Now Katowski, what does he do? We heard from Ramos. He needed his driver to get his elbows out. And again, just that little bit of defense. 12-13. 14 opens it up, but Katowski's been able to get a good exit on turn 14. Can he set something up here on the exit? Looking for the crossover, going into 2. It's not going to happen, and he's going to stay in line. Berghoff, the first one to try the outside on Wagner. Not going to work.
And I knew as soon as Pettit looked over the shoulder heading down towards 12 and 13 and saw Katowski behind, that he was going to shuffle to the inside. You just, if you know, you know. And that is one of the best passing opportunities on this circuit, is the inside of 12 and that long 180-degree left-hander that tightens into 13. If you get to the inside there, you can very quickly get yourself in a position. And unfortunately, if you are the one being passed, you aren't guaranteed to just lose one spot. Look over the shoulder again from Pettit, and look how defensive on the inside. But look back behind the top four. Look back towards Murphy, Berghofer, Samet, Kidd. They're 3 wide back behind the leaders because right now Pettit's having to stack everyone up to try to defend from Katowski.
Yeah, and Orioli was looking for a couple of moves, and he got into the rear bumper there of Darren Kidd in a turn 13, which mixed that group up and has now split them up just a little bit. But Katowski's done, I think, better than any other driver behind Travis Pettit at the moment. Not allowing those moves to the bottom by Pettit to kind of deter his charge forward. And he's been able to, again, stick right there with him and really unfazed by it all. But the same for Palacio and Wagner and Samet. They have, again, one way or another managed to find themselves in this lead pack time and time again. For Darren Kidd, who sits in 6th, they're still, again, one in the fight to slow down just a little bit, and it won't. Murphy's going to make a move on the inside of turn number 12. No problem for Murphy. The problem might be coming for Kidd, though, because Nathan Golseth's behind him. Orioli and Berghofer. Now a pass here by Samet in a 14. Marco Samet's up to 4th.
Samet getting that move done now needs to close back to Palacio and Katowski and Pettit and get the move through. One of the things we saw last lap there, Katowski gave that clear hand signal forward to Pettit when Pettit was behind him. Don't worry about me. Let's build a gap on everyone else here, because I think they know at this point, if they can't get away from Palacio, from Samet, from Wagner, from Murphy, Golseth, Orioli, keep naming down the order. If you can't build a gap right now, battling doesn't matter. You may not even end up in the top 3 or the top 5 if you can't build a bit of a gap. Katowski looks over the shoulder heading into 8, 9, and 10 and can tell that Palacio is there, gets the head right back down through 11, up the hill to go down towards 12, and not looking for a move now. Katowski settling into that line right behind Pettit and following the leader right now through, not forcing anything, but is definitely crafting something here soon.
And now Orioli crafted a move of his own into turn 14. Not going to work. Frustration from Berghofer, frustration from Orioli as well, as they go back and forth in passes they have made. Now the fastest lap of the race, fastest driver on the racetrack is Marco Samet, 58.290. And he's a driver who's now, or started the lap in 4th, now up to 3rd by the looks of it, able to pass Palacio this time around.
Yeah, and look at the gap between Braden Wagner and Tristan Murphy, a 1.5 seconds when they cross the line. So your top 5 are starting to pull some margin on P6 back. They need to continue to build that margin, because here's the thing, I don't even think a 3-second margin would be comfortable when they start battling with 2 to go. We'll see, as we've seen time and time and time again, you can pull that margin, it just compresses right back. And there we go, down the inside, more passing happening, and the 869 Kidd, 2 wheels off the track, able to split the ditch.
Yeah, Fernandez was the one who took advantage of the opportunity presented to him on Darren Kidd with the move from Orioli into turn 14. So now Santi is driving the lead of that pack, and a change up front. Nico Katowski is your new leader, and he's going to put them all to the low side. Pettit looked to rip the high side, and that's the first time we've seen the driver in second try that. We just saw it there. Didn't work all too well for Pettit. Now Samet to the bottom, all over the curb in turn number 11. That's going to cost Samet. Palacio gets past him. Now Palacio with a run to the outside. Can he get Pettit? He might. For second, Palacio still on the outside, and it's not going to work in the end. He's going to hold on a 3rd. Wagner stuck on the outside, and welcome back Tristan Murphy, Nathan Golseth, and as well as Callan Berghofer. They have joined the mix up at the front. Now Pettit going to the low side. Turn number 1, Travis Pettit retakes the lead.
First time we've seen Travis Pettit really compromised through some runs, and Pettit was able to handle that beautifully along and get back into the front. Katowski now in the inside through through 4 into 5. Katowski up in the move. Pettit actually drops down behind Palacio into 3rd. Samet would like to get back in line. Samet getting shuffled further out of line there on the outside of 6 and 7, now dropping further down the order. All of that battling in the front. I said even 3 seconds wouldn't be enough. They didn't even have a second. Big contact there through 11.
Murphy, nice clean pass into turn 11 on Travis Pettit. He gets through, and here comes Golseth. Pettit's going to go even further back. Samet is clear. Wagner goes through. Orioli goes through. Benja Fernandez is looking to go by as well. And Pettit looking to stop the bleeding. He won't. Everybody's gotten by almost inside of the top 8. And a black and white going the way of Lucas Palacio, the 825, who sits in 2nd, is under investigation.
Pettit going from the lead to P9 in 1 lap. We talked about this nose-to-tail train and how if you lose one position, it's not just one position. What is it truly? Battle for 2nd, Murphy, Palacio, Katowski. Now the question is, who in this mix will get it? Palacio won the superheat. Katowski won the heat. Who comes out on top now? Murphy would be the one who hasn't won.
And Golseth's way off the racetrack. The driver who sits 3rd in the points gets shuffled all the way outside of the top 10, and we're passing for the lead. Palacio, turn 11, side by side on the run down to turn number 12. Murphy's to the bottom. Samet looking to follow. He's not going to get it. Katowski's back to 3rd.
Katowski now back into 3rd, holding through. Samet going to be looking to make a move, and look at this, your top 10 plus. Nose to tail now coming out of the final corner, going to lap 18 of 20 starting. 3 laps left to go in this race. Your lead is the RPG of Palacio, defending the inside as we have some sense to the outside here. Trying to make moves.
Pettit stuck in a big whole game of bumper cars on the on the edge of the top 10 from 5th on back. Berghofer's there. Benja Fernandez, Orioli, Kidd, and more joining the mix. William Veeder as well, starting to close on into that group. But they're working their way through. It's Lucas Palacio, who again we noted 2 laps ago, the black and white did come out for him, as now Murphy got a good exit out of 11. Palacio's going to cut the nose on the run down to 12. Samet's into the grass, looking to make a move on the inside that doesn't work. Pettit's there. Berghofer, Wagner on the high side, and Pettit now on the inside of 13. He's clear and up to 4th here for Travis Pettit, regaining a couple of spots on this lap.
Travis Pettit has 2 laps to try to get back to the front, and you see the communication there. The big news for Travis Pettit is you have Samet, your teammate. Katowski with a big bumper to the back of Palacio here, trying to get some moves around the outside. Murphy wants to go for 2nd against Katowski, gets the move through. We have big battles all the way around.
And look at that move out of Travis Pettit around the outside in turn number 2. Are you kidding me? Pettit was all the way back in 6th. He got himself up to 4th, ripped the high side into turn number 1, held on to it into turn 2, went around Murphy and Katowski simultaneously, and now is going to take the fight of Lucas Palacio here. Palacio's going to park it into 11, and on the run, onto the backstretch, Samet again. Looking to the bottom, it's going to close, and we're all stacked up, everybody down to the white line at the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Darren Kidd and company. Bumper to bumper, nose to tail, everybody pushing and shoving. One of them's off. It's Darren Kidd. Darren Kidd's off the racetrack into turn 13.
You saw Palacio do a double take here, I think, thinking the same thought we all are. Wait a minute, Pettit's back up here, back into 2nd? Wasn't he way out of the order? White flag, 1 lap to go, and let's open up the can of worms here coming around. Pettit, Katowski hold nose to tail. It's back with Murphy and Samet where the first out of position goes. 1 cart big off the track. I believe that was Fernandez off the track out of 3. Meanwhile, your top 5 stay nose to tail through 4 and 5, heading into 6 and 7.
And Nathan Golseth all of a sudden back in the picture on the edge of the top 10. He's currently behind Carriega inside of the top 10. Golseth was 4 tires off the racetrack halfway through this race, and now to the bottom goes Palacio. This is the final 3 corners of this race. Final 3 corners in KA100 Junior, and Lucas Palacio is leading them. Pettit gonna need to find something. Palacio to the bottom, turn 14 once again. It's gonna be a drag race. Pettit's going to need to find a lane, whether it's high, whether it's low, and going to need some help from Katowski. Who does Katowski push? It's going to be Palacio to the line. Lucas Palacio wins in KA Junior.
Another drag race to the line. Second one today, and I have a feeling that's going to continue. Palacio, Pettit, Katowski, your top three here. Tristan Murphy, the fourth, and Marco Samet in fifth. Wagner, Golseth, Fernandez, Rivera, and Correa, your top 10.
What a race. What a drive out of Lucas Palacio to hold them all back. William Veeder, unfortunately, we lost him before the finish. Nathan Golseth up 10 spots, 4 tires off the racetrack, finishes the race in 7th. And in second, Travis Pettit, Nico Katowski, Tristan Murphy, Marco Samet. And again, all results unofficial. But the standings in KA 100 Junior, if it all stays like this, Travis Pettit will have a 116-point lead headed into the Lake Erie Grand Prix over Nico Katowski. And again, Palacio, you can see it on the screen there, was under investigation. The end result, we are not quite sure, but unofficially, Palacio is the winner in KA 100 Junior.
I had people all behind me. I literally couldn't even stop.
No, it's okay. I just pushed you to the left. You need the point. You need the point.
Lucas Palacio, what a race, buddy. That seemed like a race of really just defense. How could you manage yourself in the front? Kind of talk me through your thoughts.
I knew that as soon as they got a chance to pass me, like the heat races, they would pass me. I just stayed calm at the beginning. I knew that the tires didn't come in until the end. I think everything was fun, really. I was defending for most of the race. Yeah, it was good. I'm really glad that I won. I'd like to thank RPG and my dad for everything that they've done for me. Yeah, thank you.
Well, congratulations, guys. Lucas Palacio.
Oh, Lucas Palacio, the second main event winner of the day. And that's it for K100 Junior. What a race, what a drive, and he had to work hard for that one.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make way. Okay, you're good.
I'm sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle. How the did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
20 laps of KA100 Senior presented by Brandon Jarts Crack Racing are on deck. And they're led.
Connor Ferris will roll off. Connor Ferris will roll off 10th with Chris Harrower in 11th, Peyton Phillips in 12th, Mateo Rubio Luengo in P13, Braden Zerbs in P14, Victor de Alencar in P15, Emiliano Lima, Derek Wargo, Max Weiland, and Wyatt Downing, your top 26 KA Senior to take on these laps. And, well, it all starts at the tram lines.
And here we go. Paulie Massimino is on the outside. Caden McQueen, the driver out of the United side. Caden McQueen, the driver out of the United Kingdom. He doubled up last year on the national scene. He won at the Florida Winter Tour, and he won in Las Vegas at the Rio. And since then, he hasn't taken victory, hasn't yet won on our platform. We'll keep an eye on it here, looking to get a victory in KA100 Senior. Lights are out. KA100 Senior is underway in Ohio.
Oh, and the outside line not working out at all for the 943 as things shuffle up big time there in the front, and we continue to see fights heading through 5, 6, and 7, but the outside line did not get a good getaway.
Yeah, Paulie Massimino tried to hold on to the outside of turn number 2. James Overbeck was there, and it did not work out at all for Paulie, dropping 2 tires off the racetrack, but he's got AJ Myers right behind him. Isaac Malquid is in line as well. And up at the front, here's another look at it here, Bradley. Side by side for a second, James Overbeck, Paulie Massimino. And Massimino really got bogged down there. And again, James halfway through this corner, turning in. And yeah, Paulie just kind of nowhere to go, crowded on the outside. Really awkward moment in between the 2 teammates who have worked very well in unison on this package throughout the year, but it's going to be Edgar Rodriguez, the driver who sits in 3rd. Another one of the BJRLN karts with Shane Reddy getting a monster start up to 4th, up 3 spots. And then Dono, the most recent active KA100 Senior winner on the national circuit. He won over at the Pro Tour round number 5, and I say most recent active because Austin Garrison is your most recent K100 Senior winner, but he is retired. Paulie Massimino, James Overbeck on the inside there. On the inside of Caden McQueen, who's getting shuffled back. Rodriguez is through, Reddy is through, and Bonilla's where it's gonna stop. Bonilla's not gonna get through, but McQueen from the lead back to 4th, and James Overbeck is your race leader.
James Overbeck now leading the field along after a chaotic first 2 laps of 20 for KA100 Senior. This is where Overbeck needs to try to get a bit of run going, having someone behind to help there in the name of Rodriguez, trying to just see if you can build a bit of momentum, build a bit of a run here, and see if Reddy can't maybe stick to the back. McQueen, Bonilla, and Massimino, and look at Isaac Malkuit there in P7. AJ Myers, by the way, up into 8th place now. AJ Myers, again, this hasn't been the weekend, and there we go. McQueen passed by Bonilla down into 11 now. And McQueen passed by Massimino, and look at Isaac Malkuit gonna go through as well. Something not going well for McQueen. McQueen down the order, started on pole, and is down into 7th right now.
Something not going well. Nothing is going the way of Caden McQueen these first 3 laps. This has been, again, a very disastrous start from the pole. He's already back to 7th. And again, it's just all with what he's been given, right? He's been shuffled time and time again in this race. Nothing has gone his way. All of the OTKs, whether it's a BJR, whether it's a Holtz, whether it's an RPG, or whether it's an Orslon and Isaac Malquid, they've all gotten by the Sodi. They've all gotten by him. And he's back to 7th now. A different package behind him in AJ Myers on the Kart Republic. And the 2 of them are going to try and take the fight to all of these drivers that have gotten ahead of him. That time by Paulie Massimino with a clean move in turn number 11. He gets by on Donovan Bonilla.
Turn 11 has been the favored passing opportunity this weekend, and one of the things that I look forward to watching for the remainder of this race is how does Massimino really work through on the inside of 11. It seems like that's going to be a good point to pick your passes that's going to work well. Overbeck pulling a little bit of a gap on Shane Reddy, swap for position there along McQueen and working through, or that was Myers on Perez working along. Is Caden McQueen is actually your fastest car on track now, getting back up to the lead path. Bit of contact.
Edgar Rodriguez getting through the corner, and Shane Reddy's going to be the one that's going to pay the price. Massimino wanted to get through, and his teammate in Rodriguez had a hard time keeping that thing straight, and Caden McQueen is going to lose even more spots. Myers is by. Perez is by as well. And I think he even got passed by Connor Ferris. McQueen is falling down the order. He's outside of the top 10 from the pole. And now Derek Wargo on the Formula K IPK is on the inside of the Sodi. This has been a disastrous race up to this point for Caden McQueen.
If you were to tell me that there's an engine issue in Caden McQueen, I'd believe you at this point. It is amazing to see that run through. Did we put too much weight on the cart? What is happening here? Dive to the inside. Massimino on Rodriguez making the pass through for P2. Bonilla wants to follow. Bonilla does follow. And then Malkowit follows through as well. Watch Little Sizzle here up into 4th place. May have a good run. I would say that if there is a driver from the outside looking in to watch, that 970 of Isaac Malkowit definitely on my radar.
And now, I think the worst sight for anybody to see is that James Overbeck and Paulie Massimino are now sitting 1 and 2. And when you look back to when we were last here at the Stars Championship Series, James Overbeck, they gave him a gap just like this one, and he ran away with it. He didn't look back. And this time, it's going to be his teammate and Paulie Massimino, the two of them side by side on the exit of turn number 2. We'll see if Paulie Massimino can get back to his teammate and fight for the lead. Here's everybody through. McQueen faded hard on lap number 5. He's behind Peyton Phillips. He's back in 13th. And now they're passing here. Connor Ferris holding up Derek Wargo. And I look back to the Sodi, who doesn't even seem to be putting up a fight against the drivers ahead of him, and we've lost one. Chase Gassiet-Lee off and into the grass.
Chase Gassiet-Lee was trying to make a big drive here on the day and work forward, and unfortunately off into the grass there, down in 20th place, now out of this race. And that is unfortunate for CGL. Going to be a Saturday for some that they'll want to forget. Right now it seems like for James Overbeck, this is the Sunday to remember coming along. I'm still puzzled by McQueen, honestly. The fact that that just hasn't worked out. Here's AJ Myers trying to hold the outside. That is ready, getting ready to make the move to the inside, makes the move to the inside, up into P8.
Well, here comes the charge back forward for Caden McQueen. Got by Derek Wargo, got by Peyton Phillips, and that'll put him running behind Anthony Rivera and Connor Ferris. Sorry, it looks like we lost Rivera. Oliver Gaffer, sorry, is the driver. That is, no, it's not Oliver Gaffer there. Brayden Zerv, sorry. Brayden Zerv's the driver who sits in 11th. Caden McQueen now sits behind him in 12th.
So now the problem for Caden McQueen is how do you rebound? How do you come back from 12th to 1st in half the race distance? And that is one of the situations that no driver can really prepare for. And the big problem is, what has that done to your confidence? What has that done to your ability in the seat? Can you really pull the belts tight and buckle up and get ready for the sin of all sins? We're at the top of the beast, getting ready for the first drop now. Is there a drop, or are we going to have to deboard and walk down the hill for the run of Caden McQueen?
I mean, as we have one off, there's a 972 that is off the racetrack. But this race is lost for Caden. He's going to, a miracle would have to happen for him to get back up there. And it was lost in the first 5 laps of this race. And that's really surprising to me. The first 5 laps, that's what's defined this race for the driver in that Sodi. Right now, you see how much time he has to close down in this gap. And not even that, but to close down to James Overbeck, where we were here a month ago, and he didn't put a foot wrong. Not even a mistake out of him with the lead. It's Paulie Massimino, and it's all falling down to Paulie at this stage, right? What can you do? But he's going to have to go a 10th better, 2 tenths better, and try and chase down James. But they have been dead even every time, any track they go to, it's pretty much dead even to the 10th, to 2/10. And that's where this race is really lost, I would say, for Caden McQueen being back in 12th. There's, you know, I hate to say it, and I hate to sound like a Debbie Downer, but there's no hope at this point. It's another opportunity that has gotten away from the 942.
I think it's being a realist, honestly. I don't think that that's being Debbie Downer. I think it's just the unfortunate nature of how competitive this KA senior category is and just how good those BJRs and RPGs have been all weekend long. We saw it from qualifying, Pauly Massimino pulling on the pole, and even then, you know, in Heat 1, the win wasn't there for Massimino or Overbeck, kind of because they got in each other's way a little bit at that point, fighting through. And Caden McQueen was able to capitalize, get that move around the outside, and get that 2-for-1 done. And then Overbeck and Massimino just couldn't figure out how to work it. It's a mechanical failure for the Sodi.
Well, that would explain things for Caden McQueen on what his tenure in the United States has looked like on our platform here. Another weekend and another opportunity lost. You start asking yourself if, and, or but, could this be for Caden? But the absolute fact of the matter is that this is another one that has slipped away from the Brit. For everybody else, the charge is still on. Pauly Massimino was a 10th better than James Overbeck, and it's gonna need to be more these next 10 laps if Pauly Massimino looks to deny James Overbeck once again. And Overbeck was denied back at the Indiana GP. The two of them ran away from the field. And it was Pauly in the heads-up battle that got the win in the end. Now Little Sizzle is going to make a move into turn 13 on Donovan Bonilla. You can promote Ike up to third.
Great move there from Isaac Malkowit to get that OR cart up into P3 and try to make a move here on Massimino into 2. The answer is going to be no, sitting behind and holding through. Isaac Malkowit, fastest lap last time with a 57.901, closing the gap none last time to Overbeck for the second and third place drivers. Bonilla sitting in 4th. 5th place Rodriguez. 6th place is Perez. Perez not looking in a bad position, honestly, to try to close up into a top 5, possibly top 3 finish, as right now Massimino leads this group. And Massimino not putting a foot wrong, as you said, Caleb, can't put a foot wrong, isn't putting a foot wrong. We know Massimino's a very strong driver, but Isaac Malkowit looking fast down the inside in the 13 pass in 2 seconds.
Isaac Malkowit with a great pass, and now it all falls down to the rookie KA100 senior driver, and I could really say probably the rookie of the year in K100 seniors. Now Donovan Bonilla is going to shuffle Pauly Massimino back another spot to 4th in this race, where it all fell into the hands, where it all fell into the lap of Pauly Massimino, try and close down to his teammate. It's now shifted the tide over to the 970 of Isaac Malkowit, also local to Ohio, born and raised here in the Buckeye State. He's going to look to chase down James Overbeck. Tall ask for Ike as they move further back. Shane Reddy, Edgar Rodriguez, Rubio Luengo. But it's Reddy, the one who sits in 7th.
One of the things to watch here at this point, and one of the things to remember, we've only completed 12 of 20 laps. We're coming up to complete lap 13 and go on to lap 14. There's still time for things to shuffle out of it. Nothing is guaranteed. I do want to say that. Nothing is guaranteed till the checkered flag flies, but that time through, gaining a 10th and a half Overbeck over Isaac Malkowit. So that gap opening a little bit there as the defense is going to have to come in for second place. Looking back there, Rubio Luengo trying to put some pressure down on Shane Reddy. Shane Reddy going to the outside. Rubio Luengo, great move to the inside there through turn 4 and 5 to get up a position into P6. And now we'll see how that plays through.
And a look at the lap time comparison there in between James Overbeck and Isaac Malkowit. Malkowit was only marginally better throughout laps 7 and 8, and then he improved just a little bit more. But again, a lot of time to close down. It's almost at 2 seconds, and that's gonna look and feel like a whole lot more for Ike. Right, and you got to feel for Caden, right, on a disappointing weekend where he looked like the favorite coming into today. That being said, last time around, Mike, not enough. Not enough to close down a James Overbeck, who is looking to repeat here in Cincinnati.
James Overbeck just consistent across the line, lap after lap, and the gap's not really opening, it's not really closing, it's maintaining around 1.8 to 2 seconds, and that goes to show, again, that skill gap that just doesn't exist here for these drivers. This KA senior field so closely matched, that 2-second gap maintaining here, and again, this is around a 0.95 mile track here. Is look to the inside for Bonilla. Bonilla on Malkowit. Malkowit defending Massimino off. And now it is going to be Bonilla up into second to try to say, okay, I think I can have a run on James Overbeck up in the front. As Paulie Massimino is going to sit behind both of them and say, all right, can we get back to James Overbeck, please?
And surprisingly enough for James Overbeck, he's only got 1 win on the year, and it was right here at MCC. This weekend in K100 Senior, he's looking to take his second. He was the bridesmaid back at the Indiana Grand Prix. And now he's looking to go one spot better here at round number 3 to continue this championship charge after a 4th place finish at the opening round at the Carolina Grand Prix. As we look here, the battle for second, Donovan Bonilla, it won't be his day. Paulie Massimino, it won't either. Isaac Malkwood and Daniel Perez, they are going to fight for the last of the podium places as it stands. All of them will stand either on the box or next to it. The top 5 presented at the podiums here at the United States Pro Kart Series. And they all are looking to stand there. Now the order will be, how this one will shape out, we don't yet know. But you can almost sign, seal, and deliver the #1 trophy.
It's amazing to see James Overbeck just so flawless up in the front here. It's one of those drives that really can define a career for James Overbeck and goes to show how strong of a driver Overbeck truly is. Just holding that first place, holding that 2-second gap. Again, doing that solo, no draft, no friends, just holding that through as Bonilla under pressure here from Paulie Massimino, as Isaac Malkowit now has dropped down into 4th, 5th places. Perez here coming across the line. Let's get a reset on the gap heading to lap 18 of 20 starting. Gap across the line, 1.9 seconds, so it has changed a little bit, but still nowhere near enough of a margin. And unfortunately, again, James Overbeck up there on his own has no one to battle with to help kind of naturally close that gap. Because as the battle would form, it would help close that gap. Overbeck has no one to battle right now but himself.
And that's pretty much been the story of the year as well for the 948. He's battled with Paulie, he's battled with a lot of others. But the fight has really been against himself. How could he go better? How could he be better week after week? And now they're going to fight for second. Bonilla is going to send a big dive to the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to give Massimino the gap that he would have hoped for with a little bit of breathing room now, as Bonilla playing defense here with Malkwood and Perez behind him. And it'll be 2 laps to go for James Overbeck, for Paulie Massimino, for Donovan Bonilla, for Isaac Malkwood, and for Daniel Perez. Who Perez, I must add, looking at his best result at the national scene. Maiden podium incoming, as long as he just keeps it right here, somewhere in these 4 spots that are available to him.
And he's going to want to try to move up higher, but at the same time, a 5th place for Perez would be a wonderful result as well. So you kind of, in this pack with K100 Senior, these senior drivers are very smart, and they're weighing in their head, what's the risk versus reward? What's the risk of a pass versus the reward of a top 5? Where do I fall in better on this? And right now, a lot of these drivers, they don't see it worth the risk for a big dive into 12 or 13 coming around here. We're going to take the white flag, 1 lap to go. Overbeck last time had stretched the gap out another 2 tenths. And for James Overbeck there in the BJR LN, it's going to be a stretch of a victory lap here through turn 2. Gap was again maintaining at 2.1.
And James Overbeck this weekend has looked a lot different than most others. Saw the same thing out of him at the Stars Championship Series when we were here. And K100 Senior, very determined, very ready to go out there and perform at any means necessary to take the win that he was looking for a very long time. He was pretty much a drought to start off 2026, and it ended here at this place that he calls home, back at the Clash of the Club. And today on the Sunday, he has been as good as we've ever seen him, a determined, a poised, and a two-time race winner in K100 Senior in 2026. James Overbeck is dominant at the Ohio Grand Prix to win the KA Senior main event. And to the line for second, Paulie Massimino will join his teammate on the podium with Donovan Bonilla coming across the line in third.
Daniel Perez able to make a move up into fourth. Isaac Malkwit will hold fifth. Edgar Rodriguez. AJ Myers, what a drive to get up into seventh there and maintain through. Derek Wargo, we didn't talk about that 978, but up 10 places. Mateo Rubio going into ninth. Connor Ferris rounding out your top 10.
Well, we could have predicted that one. James Overbeck, BJR 1-2 once again, but this weekend, it's not like it was at the Indiana Grand Prix. It's James Overbeck over Paulie Massimino and Donovan Bonilla. Overbeck holding strong at home. The 948 will stand on the top step of the podium for the first time this year in USPKS and for the second time this year in KA100 Senior racing action across the three nationals. And he's got a chance to double up. James Overbeck will start on run number 2 in Pro X30 later on today. Could this be the weekend he gets his maiden Pro X30 win? We're going to find out later. But for now, he's a winner again in KA Senior.
We're here in the scale line with, for us, Grace Overbeck's brother, but for you guys, James Overbeck. Definition of a Sunday drive there.
Sorry, I got into it.
You guys can see some love from teammates there. Definition of a Sunday drive. When did you realize you had a massive margin?
Yeah, I knew, I forget what lap it was. It was right after I got to the lead. I saw behind me they made a pass into the last right for second, I think, and I came off the corner. I had a little bit of a gap. I'm like, all right, perfect, and just kept my head down, kept trying to get laps within a tenth or two of each other. I stayed low 58s the whole time. But no, it was awesome race. Package was super quick. We were shaking our heads yesterday. We didn't know what to do. But thanks to Robbie and Smiles, we looked over data last night, spent a while, probably close to an hour looking over, seeing what we could do, and made the change this morning, and it lights out. It was so fast today. So, thank you, bro. So yeah, super happy with it. Yeah, just had to tell myself to stay calm the whole time. A few times I found myself getting a little tense, especially on the wheel. I'm like, all right, just calm down, just take deep breaths, and that's all I did. And yeah, it was good.
You've got another one here later today, X30 Pro. How does this build some confidence, and how are you going to use that for your final later today?
Yeah, I think however the day ends, you know, the K is the main focus for USPKS at least, so I'm very happy we got that done. But with the X30, honestly, I feel like we're faster in the X30 than we are in this, so I feel really good about it. We have a good starting spot. Hopefully you can put my head down and go up against some of the best, and hopefully get it done.
Well, there you guys have it. Congratulations, James. He's feeling even better in the X30. You guys better watch out.
Thank you very much there, Cameron. Thank you, James, as well, for his time. James was Cameron's pick, but that's it for BJR, KA100 Senior. You heard him as well before the start of the interview. He talked about just getting into the side of Paulie Massimino at the start, and at the end of the day, I mean, we're out here racing, right? Everybody going for the same thing, both of them going for wins. It was a 1-2 for both of them, nonetheless, at the end. Quick commercial break. We step aside. When we return, Mini Swift takes to the racetrack.
Macro Motorsports builds champions every day. Drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macromotorsports.net.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Motorsport.
Cut. You all right, man? You sound way off.
What?
I don't know, you sound like you're asleep still. Is the age finally getting to you? You're only how old, 42?
Dude, I'm 27. I'm not even 3 years older than you.
Well, that's pretty old. Well, that's 3 years away from Masters, dude. You need a little pick-me-up. Try a Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Do you walk around with these in your pockets?
I actually do. Always two, one for me and clearly one for you.
Whatever. Not that old, dude.
Did it help, though?
Yeah.
Pericazo. And you are that old.
Kart.
Parallel Motorsports, Mini Swift getting ready to go green, but it's a Bennick leading them to the start. Dutch Westbrook and Mason Brody on row number 1 with Jake Manali and Slade Harrell. On row number 2, Liam Francisco and Zev Gottschalk on row number 3, George Ho and Thomas Pertelt. We're going to kick this one off from row number 4. Your top 5 rows, your top 10 starters have Aiden Go and Caden Caldera on row number 5.
Brody Stoffel and Enzo Ramos going to take row number 6. Vincent Centino Aguiar in P13 with Batista Pugliese Bassi in P14. Zeminski, Tavares, and then we go down to Sears, Ostalas, Knific, Brewster. Your top 20 here, 24 entries, ending with Ricky Bateau, Braun, and Sam Hornish.
Oh, and issues for a couple. That was the 173 there slowing, as well as the 111. Sam Hornish and Bateau, the two with issues, but up at the front, so far so good. Mason Brody asking everybody to slow it down, and he was moving side to side there coming into the tram lines. They're not going to send him around this time. They're going too fast, and I think the likes of Mason Brody, well, you can see the frustration out of him from everybody else behind. Need to be careful, right? You can't scrub tires past the commitment cone. And luckily for him, that was a false start. So it won't count, but something to know, as frustrated as Mason might be. Something to remind yourself. Don't want this one to, again, end before it even starts for you.
Yeah, these tires have to get through this heat. 18 laps of action coming up. So you've got to make sure that you have the tires. You have the capacity to get through all of it. Getting frustrated early on, I understand too, but you don't want to let that frustration overtake you. You don't want to let that frustration get in the way and compromise everything that you're working towards here right now. So this front row, they've got to kind of buckle the head in here as they give them the shortcut. They do not have to take the full layout. They come down, now they're on the front stretch again, getting the indication of where the tram lines are, and you see all the hands waving from the drivers to slow down here. They're all giving each other the indication to slow it up.
And here we go. Into the tram lines. Lights are out. This one is underway in Mini Swift. And we've lost 4, 5, even more at the start of this race.
That was Cristobal Risi, one of the karts off in the mix there from further back. But up front, Dutch Westbrook able to hold on here for the lead and continue through, still side by side, trying to sort each other out here in the mid-pack of the top 10 up front. 1 and 2 hold nose and tail, and it's Dutch Westbrook and Jake Manalio, who were both on the inside row, had the better start there, and Mason Brody has dropped down to third.
Yeah, a chaotic start here once again in Mini Swift. Yesterday it took them a while to get started throughout the heat races, and now Mason Brody's going to make a pass on Jake Manalio for second. So Mason Brody is clear. And now looking to chase down Dutch Westbrook. 2 car lengths is the gap in between the leaders, and everybody else has been able to shuffle through. Slade Harrell to 5th, Aiden Go to 6th, Gottschalk, Stoffel, Ho, and then Zeminski. That's your top 10 as they run, and it's going to change now because Slade Harrell found a move there on the inside of Liam Francisco. He's able to get clear. Here comes Gottschalk looking inside of turn 7. Gottschalk goes by on Liam as well.
A great move there from Zev Gottschalk to get through on Liam Francisco along. Aiden Go trying to find a bit better of a day here in Mini Swift. We talked about Aiden Go and how I thought Aiden Go would be one of the drivers to watch along on the day. That 198 still, I think, is one to watch all the way along. Little bit of contact there through 13 from Westbrook and Brody, as Brody, I think, wasn't wanting to slow down as much as Westbrook did. You have to be careful of that because of the potential for a pushback deployment. A half pushback is 3 seconds, a full pushback is 6 seconds, and what you don't want to do is win on track, but then have a pushback bumper that adds 6 seconds to your time, because with as close as these drivers are staying, that 6 seconds could take you out of the top 10.
Very well could. Here comes Aiden Go. He's going to go on the inside into turn number 4. He's going to get himself clear for 4th as well. Now closing down his gap to the top 3, and Manalio sits in a really, I wouldn't say uncomfortable seat, but might get uncomfortable here shortly because Aiden goes right behind him. And he knows that Mason Brody has tried to make a couple of moves on Dutch Westbrook already. Hasn't quite gotten them done yet. This time by turn 13, Brody's going to sit patiently in second. And now it might be advantage the way of Aiden Go to try and shuffle Jake Manalio back another spot. But they get to the front stretch, and they're all bumper to bumper, nose to tail, pushing each other along. Harrell still in tow, and Zev Gottschalk looking a lot better than he did yesterday. There's a tiny, tiny moment there for these top 4 where it looked like Westbrook just went a little wide up and over the rumble strips. But they don't lose all too much time, and now Brody's going to go into turn number 4. Mason Brody takes the lead.
Great move there from Mason Brody to take the lead, defending it well as well coming through. Now look at this. Here comes Aiden Go wanting to make a move across back to the lead, and let's make it 2 for 1, and that's a big slide there.
Slade Harrell. Harrell's off the racetrack. Westbrook passes Mason Brody again, and Manalio's going to go by for second. Aiden Go. Now it's Zev Gottschalk and Liam Francisco and Brody Stoffel, who are back in this picture. And where did Slade Harrell end up, as now we're passing for second. We're passing for what's now 4th. We're passing for the lead. Mason Brody to the front. Gets 2 passes in 2 different corners. But now he's going to get stuck on the outside. Here comes Dutch Westbrook looking with the help from Manalio. Gottschalk up to 3rd. Francisco to 4th. And Mason Brody, as quickly as that, has fallen outside of the top 5 to 6th.
And Slate Harrell dropping down into 8th place after the off-track out of turn 7. But you might say, oh, wow, all the way down into 8th place, already making some moves back up, because here's the thing, the top 8 are currently stuck together as they head down into the 6-7 complex. And here's a look at the replay of how Slate Harrell went off track, trying to work through, trying to work along, and then, oh!
And it was all really triggered by the move in turn number 4, right? Mason Brody makes the pass, Westbrook goes back, and then everybody else having to check up behind him, having to make different moves, and then it all just kind of came undone with Slade Harrell and everybody else, you know, just looking for moves, and you know, some of them not working out. For Zev Gottschalk, this race has gone beautifully for him. Made a good number of spots, already up 4, and yesterday we were watching Zev closely because he was defending for his life to just try and hold on to 7th. And today, on the Sunday, it's been a huge 180 over you know, the last 24 hours, from where he was yesterday to where he ended the day to how he has started this main event. It has been lights out of one of the youngest drivers in this field, in Zev Gottschalk, getting himself already up to second behind his teammate in Dutch Westbrook, who is, might I add, been alone against all the nitro karts almost all day, and it seemed like almost all year, and now Zev Gottschalk's going to put himself up to the lead over his teammate in Dutch Westbrook. This kid from Curacao is wanting to be out in front against all of them. We don't see him often, but when we do, this kid always puts on a show. Zev Gottschalk is your leader.
And now here is the challenge, as we're only lap 6 of 18. Gottschalk has to defend. There goes a move to the inside for Brody. Brody not able to capitalize with that. Everything shuffles along. Gottschalk holds the lead. His teammate of Dutch Westbrook now drops down the order here. Drops down the order a bit more. Where does Westbrook end up? It's all the way back in 7th.
Yeah, and Brody, turn number 13, wants a 2-for-1, and he gets it, but it unfortunately gets into the side of Dutch Westbrook in the process and shuffles him back another spot, or another couple of spots, I should say. He's down in 7th. As we follow along here with your leader, Zev Gottschalk, to Mason Brody, to Aiden Go, who has also gained 6 spots in this main event. Good charge up the order, good charge up the field for Aiden. He put himself inside of the top 3. And now he's put in that position where, you know, you're wanting to go forward. How you go about it, you're not quite sure just yet. You got to see what's given to you by the 2 drivers ahead of you. And now it's going to be Mason Brody. He's going to take the lead of the race. Turn 14, Mason is your leader.
Mason Brody to the lead here. How long will that stay? As a black and white flag for the 111 now as well. Shuffles up to the front. Go 3 wide all the way around. That's a way to make a move for Aiden Go. Aiden Go up to the front.
Aiden Go takes advantage of Zev Gottschalk looking to pass for the lead. Crosses both Brody and Gottschalk up for the lead of this race. And now they're shuffling side by side. Brody's thoughtful, looking to regain a couple of spots. He does. He's now put himself behind Dutch Westbrook.
Everybody looking smooth here into the S's now. Lots of mixing up and battling back and forth all the way along, side by side now, the teammates of Westbrook and Gottschalk. And Gottschalk going from the front back down, but here's the thing that we've seen already. You can drop down the order and go right back up. That's how close these karts are. A little bit of contact there going through from Westbrook along with Slate Harrell going into 13. They're all able to gather it up, and look at Westbrook with the hand all the way forward, giving the clear indication of, hey, stop fighting me. We need to go on Go, Brody, and Manalio as quick as possible.
They really do. They can't afford to lose all too much time because Aiden Go, Mason Brody, and Jake Manalio are fast. And a lot like what we saw yesterday throughout some of the heats. It was really the story from 3rd on back, 4th on back, 7th on back. These groups were split up so much just because, again, nobody willing to work with one another. And now as we're on lap number 9 of 18, we are just about to get over the crest. We're just about to cross the halfway point in this main event. And for Mason Brody, he is time and time again put himself up to the lead. That is what Westbrook needs. That's what Harrell needs. That's what Gottschalk needs to get back up there.
I'm really shocked that it hasn't happened yet for Brody and Manalio. The fact that they've been so patient to sit behind Aiden Go. It's not characteristic of what we saw even in the first 10 laps here of this race. Really what we saw was a lot of back and forth hard battling, but now these top 3 have settled it in and they have decided, okay, we're gonna go for a bit of a run here and see what we can do. And for Parolin, they're leading Parolin Mini Swift. Aiden Go is gonna be very happy with that. Everyone over at Parolin is gonna be very happy with that. And we'll see where this pass can get along for them, heading up the hill through 11, down towards 12. Brody still holds behind into one of the biggest passing zones on the circuit. Will it be a tighten up into 13? No. Brody, Manalio, they're playing the smart game.
And this is as patient as we've seen the 109 so far in this race. He has made passes in turn number 4, made passes in 13, made passes in 14. Haven't yet seen one through turn number 1 out of Mason Brody, but again, time and time again, he's always making that lunge, always making that charge to try and make passes for the lead here, Bradley. And you got to think, when is the 109 going to want to go?
It's when, not if. It's got to be soon for Brody, but Aiden Go also is driving so strong right now, defending through and holding that Go up in the front, just not giving any sort of option for Mason Brody to get the pass. Aiden Go hitting all the marks, doing everything. We talk a lot in the mini Swifts about, nailing those racing fundamentals, and that is what I'm seeing right now out of Aiden Go, the Paralyn driver, doing such a great job of just keeping the head down, nailing every apex, every racing line, because ultimately, if Go doesn't, there is a slew of karts behind that are ready to capitalize on that. Brody, Manalio, and not even them, Westbrook, Harold, Gottschalk, Francisco, Sears, Aguiar, all in the mix where if something goes wrong in the front, they can capitalize.
Well, here's a look. Dutch Westbrook is just at the fastest lap of the race on his own, and he was a 10th better than your 2 leaders, and he was 3/10 better than Jake Manalio, who's starting to lose a little bit of touch from Mason Brody and Aiden Go as the fighting continues for the back. Zev Gottschalk, Liam Francisco, Dalton Sears, who's up 9 spots in this main event. The Kiddix Kart Republic has carved through this field. He's got Aguilar right behind him, and Stoffel, who's running on the edge of the top 10 as well.
Stoffel not in a bad position. Oh. There's a move. Oh, and that's the 145 off.
Sears off the racetrack in the back corner in turn 11. Stoffel goes through. Aguilar was the one who was looking to make that move. Didn't work out. Now that group gets mixed up once again.
This group is going to continue to shuffle its way around time and time again through the back third of this race as we're lap 12 of 18, 2/3 through now in the run for the day. That is going to be the Sodi making the move there to the inside. That's a strong pass.
Yeah, the 196 of Thomas Pertel goes by on Dalton Sears as well. And Sears struggling actually with the dirty tires after going off in turn number 11. But here's a look. Gottschalk is going to put himself to the bottom of the racetrack into turn number 7. Defending from Brody Stoffel at the moment. And look up front, Aiden Go and Mason Brody, and the gap at the line. And between the driver in second and the driver in third continues to extend. Brody's hit the fastest lap. They're 3/10 better at the moment than Manalio. And Manalio is also about to get on the hot seat here, because Westbrook is closing in. Saw the hand there to Porter Weisenfeld. 5 laps to go left in this main event.
Mason Brody currently sitting in second here. The Los Angeles-based driver with Speed Concepts Racing trying to find a way forward, trying to find the move on Aiden Go, but playing it smart here. Has 106 races under his belt, so a driver that really, really knows what it takes to win. 14 wins and 39 podiums with 11 poles all throughout different events, national, regional, club, premier events, going all over the place here, finishing 4th in SCUSA. Let's make a move here through for Dutch Westbrook on Manalio. That's a pass in the third, so Dutch Westbrook, a driver that's showing some promising pace late in this race here, Caleb, because further behind, they are still shuffling for positions here at the back of the top 10. Aguiar making a move up.
And there's Dalton Sears, who was looking to recover some of the spots lost in this race. And Westbrook, we'll see if him and Manalio now being together, we'll see if that's the difference maker. Because it was Manalio no man's land. Westbrook chasing him down. But did it take him too long? So we are on lap number 15. Next time we start 16, it'll be 3 laps to go. These two drivers on your screen right now are going to need a big push, big laps, and a lot of fighting out of Mason Brody and Aiden Go to try and put themselves in the picture, back into the conversation for a race win.
Aiden Go, another California-based driver here for Pearland, who has a lot of experience under his belt and can make strong moves to work. Just one at Clash at the Club. So a driver who knows this track well, knows what it takes to win here at MCC, and is looking strong so far, coming into lap 16 of 18 starting now. So we are 3 laps to go for this race, including this one. And right now, Aiden Go and Brody holding nice and steady where they're at. A little bit of a look there, not able to capitalize for Brody.
But I tell you what here, Brad, Dutch Westbrook, a 1:02.2. He was 0.2 of a second better than your 2 leaders. And when I talk about needing big laps, that is exactly the lap that Westbrook would have needed to get himself closer and closer to the front, to get himself closer to these top 2, to fight for a main event victory after getting shuffled back in this field, back in this race, and has had to charge his way back forward. Dutch Westbrook, already a champion in 2026 at the SCUSA Pro Tour, looking to close on into these 2 and to spoil the party. And it's all boiling over to this. 2 laps to go in Pearland Motorsports Mini Swift, and their driver, their main man in Aiden Go, is leading this race. Brody with a look over the shoulder, he knows it now. Dutch Westbrook is just slowly creeping up behind him.
I don't call that slowly creeping up. That is a bullet train charging to try to get to the front here. 2 laps to go. There's going to be just enough time to get to the back by the end of this lap, and then 1 lap to really charge through. Dutch Westbrook, SCUSA champion here, knows how to get a championship and knows what it takes. But here comes Mason Brody to the inside of Aiden Go. And now, hello, Dutch Westbrook. Welcome to the party. Where would you like to place yourself? Pick a seat. Will it be 1, 2, or 3? You get to decide here as we have more paddling down through 11, up the hill towards 12. Look over the shoulder from Aiden Go. Hello, Dutch Westbrook.
And now Aiden Go's going to go to the bottom. He was defending from Westbrook. He's going to take the lead, but through goes Westbrook, and back goes Aiden Go on the inside of turn 13. What a race up to this point, and it continues on the front stretch, side by side. Westbrook to the high side, Go to the bottom. Brody's going to push Aiden Go into turn number 1. Manalio goes by as well.
And where did Manalio come from in all of this? Westbrook all the way to the outside line into turn 2. Now going to slot into 4th place. We thought Dutch Westbrook was going to be going for the win. Slots into 4th, tries to work the outside through 3 and 4, not able to get the pass there. Holding into the lead right now is Aiden Go. Head down, defending that inside line, holding against the white line as much as possible. Through 6, 7 we go, and 4, Aiden Go and Brody. They look over the shoulder. Manalio 3rd, Westbrook 4th. Westbrook losing a little bit of momentum off of Manalio, coming through 11, last half of the lap.
And here we go, Aiden Go's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Brody checks his shoulder, see if there's enough gap on the outside to try and set up a crossover. Manalio's closing. Westbrook not awfully far behind. They're all at the bottom. Westbrook the first one to rip the high side. Keep an eye on Manalio, but it's going to be a run on the line. Jake Manalio's got a run on Brody. Not going to be enough to get by. Mason Brody, will it be? They're side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel, 3 wide to the line. It's Mason Brody who wins the main event on Sunday.
3 milliseconds, the closest run to the line this weekend, and 300ths separating Mason Brody, Aiden Go, and Jake Manalio. I could not have called that. I couldn't have predicted it if you had asked. Westbrook, unfortunately, all of that push, all of that drive, falls to 4th place. Slate Harrell in 5th.
And that's got to be one of the closest finishes that I think I've ever seen. I think that anybody has ever seen at a USPKS race in between the top 3, I think, on our platform in the history of our short time at broadcasting. And look at this, Brody in the middle, Go on the high side, Manalio 3 wide to the line, and Mason Brody, goodness gracious, just minimal, 1,000th of a second, 32 thousandths in between the top 3, and Westbrook's not awfully far behind. But Mason Brody, it's his day today. Speed Concepts Racing, Nitro Kart. Mason Brody is your winner on Sunday.
Don't put your finger in my face. Back up.
Mason Brody, big smile on your face here. Great win. You were really patient that whole race. What was kind of your running through your head that whole time?
I was just trying to push away with Aiden because we're both super fast, and yeah,
Is that a move that you were planning?
I wasn't thinking so.
No thoughts running through your head, but still able to get it done here today. Mason Brody, congratulations, bud.
That's got to be, again, one of the funniest interviews that I heard. You know, wasn't even thinking, just out there driving on autopilot. I tell you what, the autopilot was pretty good for Mason Brody. He's your winner on Sunday. We'll step aside. Shifter, Masters, and Super Masters coming up next.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Speed Concepts Racing X30 Junior getting ready to start their main event. Travis Pettit and Marco Sammet will share row number 1 with Tristan Murphy and Lucas Palacio on row number 2 with Nico Katowski and Royce Vega alongside each other on row number 3. Cam Johnson, Braden Wagner lock out in all RPG. Row number 4. Nathan Golseth and Grayson Walcott will share row number 5, your top 10 starters. Your first 5 rows.
Parker Ives, P11 with Dominic Gaddis, P12. Kai Park, P13 with Graham Eslick in P14. Wynn Godshock, Benjamin Fernandez, going to be P15, 16. Noro Viter Romero, 19 carts for X30 Junior as they hit the tram lines.
Well, here we go into the tram lines. Out of them now, lights are out. X30 Junior is underway from Ohio.
And it was a big crossover up in the front from the BJRs, but Travis Pettit and Marco Sammet already going to battle early here in the front. And watch out for Tristan Murphy trying to make some moves.
Yeah, it didn't happen, but it did happen for Lucas Palacio, who's up to second. On the RPG, going for the lead now into turn 7 on Travis Pettit. Lucas Palacio catches Travis Pettit by surprise. The RPG, your leader, to Sammet, to Pettit, to Murphy, to Katowski, and then to Royce Vega on the Ryan Perry Motorsports Ryan Perry Motorsports Tony Kart. My apologies.
Drivers already up and down this field, and look there, Pettit and Sammet trying to make a move on the RPG of Palacio, not able to get to the inside through 12 and 13. X30 Junior surviving lap 1, but they have a 20-lap final here at USPKS that they have to go through. Look at that, almost trying to go the inside. Sammet tried to put a nose to the inside on Palacio. Palacio defending big time to the inside, almost off into the grass towards the flags for Sammet. Able to get back into it through turn 2, 3. Lots of looks over the shoulders. Lots of defending going on from Palacio.
And we've already seen this play out once today and many, many times this weekend. These junior categories, KA Junior, X30 Junior, whether it's Palacio, whether it's Pettit, whoever's out in front, they want to stay there. And they'll do whatever it takes to do so. Palacio has Sammet in tow and third on back. I shuffled a couple of them around. Royce Vega, Travis Pettit, and Al Murphy looking on the inside. Into turn number 12, Tristan Murphy is clear. and up to third. Pettit to fourth. Now Katowski, can he go by as well? He won't. Everybody else slotting through. Nathan Golseth. They're in that second group with Wolcott, Wagner, and Johnson right behind him.
I want you to think back yesterday to heat number 1. Vega had a bad start and fell off the front. Pettit ran away with it. Marco Samet held second, so it was the 2 BJRLNs that were able to get a move. Third place back was a crazy battle, but Lucas Palacio was able to pull P3. Palacio again in heat number 2 came through in 4th place behind Murphy. So Palacio's been there all weekend. It was 4th in the superheat as well. I'm curious to see what Palacio, now that RPG is up in the front, what can happen. Right now, Palacio and Samet have pulled a gap over Travis Pettit. Pettit sitting in 3rd, trying to go through. Pettit has won everything in X30 up to this point. We heard from him this morning after KA Junior feels even better in this X30, but right now, sitting in 3rd. Is this strategy? Is this pace? We'll find out.
And now Nathan Golseth looking on the inside, and it's turn 14. He's clear on Royce Vega. Wolcott now in the line. And Wagner's looking to go by on his teammate. Not going to happen. Look for it on the front stretch. And again, yesterday we talked about the couple that we lost at the start of the racing. We had all of them in frame. It's just about the same here today. Palacio to Samet to Pettit. Everybody inside of the top 10, split by less than 2.5 seconds. And then back to Ives, who's really putting everybody inside of the top 11 within the same 3 seconds from each other.
Vega just got passed by Wolcott and Wagner out of turn 7 there. 4 P7 dropped down to 9th place. Up front, the RPG of Palacio really looking settled in. These drivers at this point, they've gotten through the first few laps, and now they're trying to settle in the rhythm. This is where you pick your battles. You go one at a time, and you just focus the kart ahead. But here's the problem. All of the passing we've seen all weekend here at MCC, it is not a one-at-a-time pass opportunity. It is, you're going to end up 2 passes through, 3 people through, if you are the one getting passed. So you just have to watch out at this point for how that's going to go. Fastest kart on track is Travis Pettit, right to the back of Samet now, going through 3, 4, and 5. Travis Pettit has to try to pass here. You see him reaching over, making a slight adjustment there to that radiator cover, trying to get a little bit more power out of this X30 package, trying to get a little bit closer to Samet and Palacio.
Now they work their way on the back stretch. We're barely 4 laps completed, about a complete lap number 5 in this main event, and Nico Katowski is closing on in to the top 5, or top 4 I should say, as Samet's gonna have a pass for the lead into turn 14. Marco Samet. Palacio had no idea Marco Samet was about to make a move, and Samet will see this coming from a mile away. Palacio responds into turn number 1. He goes back to the point, and now Katowski around the outside on Tristan Murphy. It's going to work for him, but I think, and by the looks of it on the back straightaway, the front bumper on that barrel art might be pushed in here, Bradley.
It does look like it here for Katowski. That is unfortunate. Again, if you have a full pushback deployment, that is 6 seconds. And yeah, that looks like a very clear full pushback deployment. Unfortunately for Katowski, that is 6 seconds of penalty coming post-race. And Katowski will know looking down that pushback has deployed.
Oh.
And that's a big off.
We're side by side, Johnson and Wolcott. Wolcott's going to go off the racetrack. Now everybody's to the low side of the racetrack. Palacio, they all get into each other. Samet's to the wayside. Travis Pettit emerges in the lead. Murphy's all out of shape. Going into 14, Wagner's alongside him. Side by side with Vega and Golseth. What on earth happened? Into turn number 12, into 13, and into 14. Pettit somehow, some way, has come away with the lead.
And Katowski up to second, Palacio in third. All of a sudden, we've taken what looked like a 3-horse race and made it about 10-plus karts all in the battle now. Make it actually 11 karts that were all up there shuffling for the lead through 12, 13, and 14. Now they all go back into single file here at the moment. Yellow flags wave through 5 and 6 and 7 as we come out of 7 now towards 8, 9, 10 to go to the bottom of the hill to turn 11. In the lead, Travis Pettit, who wasn't able to hold the lead at the start, now up into the lead ahead of Katowski, ahead of Palacio. What can Travis Pettit do to defend it? What will happen here? Because Palacio tries to go to the inside of Katowski. Katowski squeezed him to the curb. Katowski loses 2 places. Katowski loses 3 places.
Yeah, Kwiatkowski lost, I think, more time than he would have wanted there. Just left the door open for Lucas Palacio to come on in. He pretty much invited him in. And Palacio walked right through. Now and into second. Chasing down Pettit. The look out in front looks a lot different than what it did before.
A reset on the front here for the moment. It's Pettit in the front. It's P2 Palacio, P3 Murphy, Golseth P4, Kwiatkowski in 5th. Wagner, Samet, Vega, Walcott, Ives your top 10. Gottschalk's down into P number 11 here, but up 4 places on the day, so it's a good charge there. Paxton Romero, your biggest mover in 13th, up 6. And may have more, because look at this chaos into turn 12, up and down the inside and around. That is just absolutely everyone holding single file. Look at the sea of carts. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone has pushed back deployments and somebody went up in the air on the back end. They were able to hold on to it. It looked like tire over tire contact.
And they're all stacked up bumper to bumper. Travis Pettit's going to take Palacio to the bottom. Palacio's going to rip the high side. He won't follow him through. Here comes Murphy on the outside, looking for second. He might get it from Palacio, who's going to have to make way. Maybe even a goal set. Palacio's off the racetrack. 2 tires off. Still holding on for third. If he comes out with it here, it'll be again. Palacio gets together with Golseth into turn number 4. I was just about to say it would be incredible for Palacio to hold on a third somehow, some way, and he didn't. He didn't. He's back further down into the top 10, and Golseth's not happy. It's all changed up front, and it's Tristan Murphy now the driver in second. Kwiatkowski to Wagner to Samet, your top 5.
What a lap, and we're not even through yet. That was just half of the lap. Let's go through 13 now. Look at the sea of carts here. Wagner holding on to 4th here, coming through, and watch that yellow helmet here. The RPG's been looking quick. I would not be surprised if Wagner doesn't find a move through 1, and now we bunch up again around the outside. Kwiatkowski wants to make the move back on Murphy. Murphy shuts the door, not able to come through, and look back there at Wagner holding on to everything. It's got down into the inside. All of a sudden, Samet's up into 4th place here as well as we shuffle through. But up front, it's Travis Pettit. It is Tristan Murphy still trying to battle it out for the lead.
And now it gets tame for a moment in between the top 2, and Pettit's going to take it all the way to the low side in turn 11 and up to turn 12. Kwiatkowski's right on his rear bumper. Lucas Palacio looking to rip the high side on Walcott. He's gonna, I think, maybe get it on Ives. He will. Palacio banging tires with his teammate there. Ives looking to take advantage, and he didn't go anywhere. We're just at the halfway point here, Bradley. And this X30 Junior field, these drivers continue to deliver time and time again, week in, week out. And Travis Pettit is still leading them all.
These drivers said, oh, it's a final. Let's just turn up the temperature to about 17,000 degrees right now. Down the inside, Nico Kwiatkowski makes the move here into 2nd place over Murphy. Tristan Murphy will now settle to 3. Here's now the problem is Travis Pettit has got a little bit of breathing room up in the front now. We've done what I said you couldn't do, and that is give Travis Pettit any breathing room in the front. Right now, Travis Pettit has some room in the front, but here's something else that I'm noticing watching through here, Caleb, is look at the amount of carts that front bumper just doesn't look quite right on. I have a feeling post-race there's a lot of pushbacks they're going to be looked at.
You can look at Kwiatkowski. His front bumper is, again, fully deployed, fully pushed back. Lucas Palacio as well has a little dent in his front bumper. Royce Vega has a dent in his. Marco Samet. And that shows you how close they've been to each other. Everybody's been at the bottom. Everybody. It has battle wounds, battle scars from this race. I think everybody outside of Travis Pettit, who's in the lead of this race. The front looks clean.
Oh!
He'll lose some paint into turn number 4. Nico Kwiatkowski went to the inside, and Palacio up and over the curb in turn 8. He's going to get clear for 4th.
The ridiculous amount of curb runs and moves that are being seen is absolutely wild. These drivers say, oh, there's a curb? You mean that's a ramp? It's like we're in a game of Hot Wheels Nitro Circus something right now. But no, this is in fact a kart race here for USPKS for the third round as they come across the line here. And again, that line will reset. Here's your Shop AKR replay to the inside.
And there goes Nico Katowski making a move up and over the curb, which just feeds him right into the side of Travis Pettit. As you look down, that's the move. And to the bottom right-hand side of your screen, Nico Katowski has taken the lead of this race. He is up at the front with Lucas Palacio right behind him in second. And breaking news, the 729 of Travis Pettit has a penalty for avoidable contact. That'll be something to note as this race continues to draw to a close.
And that is a big penalty for Travis Pettit. Not what you want, and we'll see, of course, there is a protest window. That can be appealed. That can be argued. Now, what comes out of that, that's up to the stewards. That's a good thing it's not our job because I don't want to be the one to make that decision.
Dominic Gaddis, who's running in ninth, has the front fairing that looks absolutely destroyed on the MPG Motorsports machine. In some way, he is still inside of the top 10. He's going to lose a couple now. He's off the racetrack side by side with his teammate and Win Gottschalk, and they're all stacked up. Everybody in this field is with the same frame as now. We're side by side for the lead. Palacio looking for it around the outside. He's not going to get it, so it's back in line in second.
And that is a big, big moment there for that MPG. I would be surprised if race control doesn't throw a meatball flag out and say, nope, you have to come in. That front fairing was sitting about 45 degrees off to the side. That has to be from some sort of contact with who, from what? I'm not 100% sure. What I am 100% sure of is we're not done in the front.
Here goes now Nico Katowski. He's going to have to defend from Palacio, who gets one on the back of him. Little bobble, saves it on the exit of turn 11. Now everybody's to the low side, to Murphy, to Wagner, and then a Pettit, who's in fifth. Vega to Samet. The rest of the pack closing in. There's Parker Ives, Grayson Walcott, and more continue to pile in to this front group. This race, this class, this is exactly what we expected to see when you looked at the main event. We are barely 6 laps. We're 6 laps left until the end. There's a long time and a lot of racing still left as Pettit's going to take it to the high side, looking for third. He's going to lose a spot to Braden Wagner.
I get myself in this weird scenario where I want to cover my eyes and not watch because I know what's about to happen is going to be crazy. But I'm stuck glued to this race because what's going to happen is going to be amazing at the same time. These X30 Junior drivers, they don't pull punches. They don't retract any remarks. They are true to themselves and true to the battle. And right now, that's a big slide from Palacio. Gathers it back up again on turn 11. And look at it, fanning 2-3 wide heading towards 12.
And Palacio 2 laps in a row has, again, been sideways almost in a turn 11. 2 laps consecutively as it all comes undone for Samet. Vega off the racetrack. Royce Vega's out. Samet's getting passed by everybody in this field. Big damage on the BJR Len Carter Marco Samet, who's out of this race.
5 laps to go now. 1 BJR unfortunately out there. Looks like potentially a Ben Axel. Side by side for second place we go there. And that is big shuffles along there as Palacio will slot back into third. Murphy up to second. Katowski still holds the lead.
And here's a moment on the ShopAKR.com replay. Side by side, Marco Samet into the side of Royce Vega, which ends Vega's day early. And Samet as well, just trying to make the move. Vega, again, has a preferred line there on the outside, trying to hold on to it. Samet not trying to let him by. And again, something's got to give. Sadly, it was both of them with an early exit from this main event. And up at the front, a contender for the race of the year across all classes. And we're not even at Las Vegas yet. That's usually the one that delivers. This one delivering months early in the heat of the summer, in the peak of it all, in the peak of the season. Round number 3, the Ohio Grand Prix, is going to be one that nobody will forget for a very long time in X30 Junior, because whoever comes out with the win today would have earned it 100%. Katowski holds on over Palacio, over Murphy, over Wagner, and over Pettit.
And look at this line of karts here. Again, you see every time they hit the slow corners, the snail section as it's called, it's a little bit of a bumper-to-bumper tap that's happening. That is what is causing all of these pushbacks that we're seeing here. Now, how that plays out post-race, I have no idea. All I can tell you right now is on track, it is absolute chaos heading down through 11, and that is a look.
The fact that we're seeing Nathan Golseth in this front pack is crazy. Contact in turn number 4. He was dead last. Somehow, some way, has resurrected this race back from the dead. Welcome back, Nathan Golseth, to the top 10. He's just past Travis Pettit. He is 1 spot away from the top 5. The only driver ahead of him in 5th is Win Gottschalk, the rookie. Sits in 5th, and now a pass around the outside. Lucas Palacio!
No!
Contact! Katowski! Palacio! They come together. Palacio's into the grass and out of this race.
Side by side, they tried to go through one. Neither wanted to give. 2 into 1 does not go. That opens this front run wide open. It's now Murphy. It's now Wagner, the Lando Norris colored helmet. And look who's in 3rd now. It's Gottschalk and Goldseth 3rd and 4th.
Win Gottschalk, if he could go 2 spots better, this could be a career best result in junior on his first time of asking. But another look at the replay. Up and over the curve for Katowski. And both of them with a move around the outside coming together. Both of their days, both of their races ended 3 laps too early here in X30 Junior. It's not going to be the double for Palacio, and Gottschalk looking on Braden Wagner. Win. He's not going to get the push, though, not going to get the respect. Golseth will choose Braden Wagner, and now Gottschalk's going to have to defend. 2 laps to go, and all sides set in front. They cannot let Tristan Murphy get away. Wagner's going to defend, and this one could be done. Murphy could run away as a penalty for the 792 for avoidable contact.
And that is for that turn 1 incident there with Katowski, and they are deeming that to be on Katowski, unfortunately, and that is going to hurt big time. Came back out on track, but is going to fall down the order with that penalty. Here's what I think is interesting. Murphy has now just dropped the gear and disappeared. Wagner defended into turn 2 on Goldseth, on Gottschalk, on Pettit. Pettit's up into P5 now, so watch out here for what Pettit can do. Pettit's dropped down here behind Johnson. Tons of shuffling through the field here, but Travis Pettit is not out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, Gottschalk with a big mistake there, just drove too hard into turn 12 and into 13, side by side, wheel to wheel. Tire banging William Veeder and a couple more, it looked like, just stuck in there. Is that, I think that's Katowski, who's still fighting to get himself into the top 10, and look at the points, because it's all going to change at the end of this weekend. Tristan Murphy pretty much has been given this race. Braden Wagner continues to defend for 2nd over Nathan Golseth. Wagner fighting for what would be his career best result in X30 Junior. Golseth needing to get back to the top step of the podium this weekend. He's 200 back. But for Tristan Murphy, he kept his nose clean when it mattered most. Every single time he picked the right lane, he picked the right move. And today, the racing gods have picked their winner. It's the 7-11 Tristan Murphy out of the final 2 corners in what could very well be the race of the year. It's Ryan Perry Motorsports. It's Tristan Murphy who's going to win the Ohio Grand Prix in X30 Junior.
And what a result from Braden Wagner to come across in 2nd. Nathan Goldseth coming across in 3rd. What a result for the 723. Travis Pettit 4th. Win Gottschalk up 10 places, by the way, to find a P5.
Speechless. What a drive, what a race to the end. And Tristan Murphy through it all. Your winner on Sunday. Ryan Perry will be fired up. I don't know how on earth Pro X30 is going to top this. We'll see what they give us later on today. But the next generation of pro drivers, for some of them next year, for some of them in 2 years, they have given us one of the best moments in the history of the United States Pro Kart Series. Tristan Murphy, your winner on Sunday.
Tristan Murphy, what a drive, dude. That was a insane race. You can see a lot of high fives coming from all the competitors here. You came up just one spot short in the KA. This race looked very similar, a lot of defending. What'd you learn from that one to get this one done?
I learned that I need to pass more, need to be more aggressive, and it's not just like pushing people around. I need to get to first and take control.
Well, you were able to get that done here today. You were able to build up a little bit of gap. How did putting yourself in the lead ultimately help you there?
It helped me by making the people behind me battle and made the big gap. I was able to win because of that. I might have had to defend. They might have over-under me if they didn't fight.
There you guys have it. Tristan Murphy, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you, Caleb.
Thank you, Cameron. What a race. Me and Bradley having to catch our breaths. Nathan Golseth, one way or another, made it back onto the podium to third. Again, back from the dead. Braden Wagner as well. Congrats to Braden. He is on the podium as well as career best result in X30 Junior across the 3 nationals. What a race, what a drive. It's time to go racing once again. KA Masters coming up next.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCarrot.com. At ShopPayCarrot.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCarrot.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
KA Masters, KA Super Masters, presented by Trinity Karting Group and Nash Motorsports. Getting ready to go green. Andy Kutcher, Renato Jada David, Rollison, Baca, Carapolati, Elefante, Falcone, Shambo, Clemec, Din. Your top 5 rows, your top 10 starters, only 13 with Elizondo, Lee, KartPlex, and they're not going to get the green flag the first time of asking.
Coming around here, going through yesterday, as a reminder, it was Renato Jadir David who was at the top of the qualifying times, but Andy Kutcher was able to top heat 1 as David had issues on the outlap, took an extra outlap. In the last corner, Andy Kutcher was able to find the pass. Renato David was able to get the pass on heat number 2 to get the win there, and Andy Kutcher took the super heat when it was all said and done. How does it shape up in the main event? Well, we'll find out. Is it the MCC Pro-Am points leader in Masters of Andy Kutcher who gets the run through? Or will it be Renato David here who will have the upset and the run here in the front to get the win?
Here we go. KA Masters, KA Supermasters is getting ready to kick off their main event. Only 3 races remain. Kutcher's on the inside, the hometown hero here a couple of weeks ago at the Clash of the Club. And KA Masters is underway.
And a great run there from Andy Kutcher to get up to the lead early there. Renato David holding second place. Mike Rollison trying to find some moves, but down into 4th as Enrique Vaca able to get up into 3rd. The fight is on from everyone. Scott KartPlex in 5th trying to find some moves here as well. But out through 6 and 7, down towards 8, 9, 10, it is going to be Andy Kutcher in that red speed cart who gets up to the front.
Andy Kutcher to lead early. Renato Jadir David. Enrique Vaca has been able to get ahead of Mike Rollison in 3rd. So that's the switch inside of the top 3 and the top 4. They're so right there as Renato's going to go to the inside on Andy Kutcher in a turn 14. Pass for the lead.
We did see some strong pace yesterday out of Mike Rollison. Andy Kutcher's way off, hits a cone, spins around on the front stretch, and that is around and through, and you see he is upset.
I don't think Andy's happy with Renato. And we'll see if we can get another look at that, but Andy Kutcher, he just hit the grass on the left-hand side of the track, and it just spun him around, and Renato's going to completely miss the corner as they're side by side, and Renato just crowds him as Andy's looking for the inside, and he hits the cone, and that spins him around. I don't know. I mean,
the hand signal after tells me everything.
Yeah, I mean, leave it all into the hands of the officials, right? But I don't know. We'll see. Mike Rollison's up to 2nd regardless of everything. Enrique Vaca's falling back to 3rd.
Well, and remember, USBKS uses a video marshaling system here during their races, so they are able to look at that. They'll make a determination when it's all said and done. That's going to be kind of their choice of what they say here, and again, I'm very glad that I'm not on that side.
We look back in with the on-track action. Mike Rollison in the 428, looking to chase down Renato, and he has been faster than Renato for the last couple laps. See if Raleigh can chase him down. Falcone also this morning, talk about Scott, he had the fastest lap in the morning warm-up session. Now he's sitting right behind Paul Lafonte, and Falcone had issues throughout the day yesterday as well, where we didn't see the pace that we'd seen out of him so far throughout the year. Good exit out of turn 11, though. Scott Falcone is closing on in here. Lafonte looking into turn number 12. Not going to work for Scott. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer here.
Yeah, I really think that Scott Falcone seems to have found something today. There we go, down the inside. Falcone making that pass on Elfonte, but now they're going to run side by side out of 15 and 16 down the front stretch. They go, the OR cart there. Falcone to the inside, gets the move done into 1, is now up into P4, and will need to try to chase down Vaca, Rollison, and David up in the front.
And now you look at the gap further back here. Todd Shambo is closed on in. KartPlex is right behind him as well. Scott KartPlex, that is. And Andy Kutcher and I on the driver who was in the lead of this race for a little bit. To kick this one off, the 496 currently sits back in 11th with the fastest lap of the race.
Scott Falcone looking quick here up the hill to go down the hill, already pulling a bit of a gap here on El Fonte, trying to close up to Baca. Scott Falcone, yesterday you said it didn't really seem to be having the best of pace and seems to really be finding a bit more here today. And we'll see how that comes to advantage for the 499, but Scott Falcone definitely in a strong position so far, but needs to get that little bit more.
Well, Pro X30 is down on the grid, and there's a lot to uncover after X30 Junior. Cameron Reed is standing by with some more. Cameron?
We're down fresh out of the scale line with Braden Wagner. P2 finished there. Really crazy race. Kind of talk me through it.
Yeah, it was an amazing race. Everyone was battling a lot. I just kept to the inside. Started 8th, so it's a good finish to come out second. Stayed to the inside, waited for all the chaos to happen, and took advantage of it at the last moment.
What was going through your head on that last lap or two as you kind of saw yourself towards the front of that pack?
It felt really nice knowing that I was probably going to get a podium finish for the end of the day.
Who would you like to thank?
My dad, my mom, the team, and everyone.
Well, congratulations, Braden Wagner.
There you guys have Braden Wagner. We talked about, again, a career best result for Braden, who we've seen him a lot throughout our platform this year in 2026. He's racing over at Championship of the Future America Series, where he has, again, already picked up a couple of wins in KA 100 Junior over in California. And this, again, weekend, we're so used to seeing him in, as well, the SCUSA Pro Tour. He runs both KA and not sure so much on the X30 side of things, but this weekend to put himself on the podium, again, on the opportunities that he gets to race over with the Awesome Performance Group. Great result here to finish second when it was all said and done. His career best on the Nationals for Braden Wagner. Nationals and X30, I might add, as well for Braden. That being said, Renato Jado de Veer, he has slowly lost time to Mike Rollison, who is a car length away and continuing to close.
Renato just trying to keep that cart there on track and keep things in momentum, but definitely seems the Oralson Racing Tony Kart has lost a little bit of that magic momentum that there was early. Now, is this a conservation piece here? Again, 20-lap final. There is a long time in this race. You can afford to save a little bit here mid-race to go late race. So right now, you got to wonder, is that the case here for the front two?
We'll head on down to Cameron once again, who's caught up with some more of our drivers. Cameron?
We have Nathan Golseth here. Sorry, I call you Nate, but what a drive. Found yourself in last place there in the middle of the race. Bet you thought it was over. Kind of walk me through your thoughts there.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking much. I was really disappointed. I think I could have caught the field a little bit faster, but yeah, no, I just put my head down. I had Alex and Mario over the fence screaming every lap. Yeah, no, I just didn't give up. I knew once I got to the pack, I could probably muscle my way through, so I just hoped.
Yeah, kind of talk me through that last lap specifically where you found yourself fighting for this podium position after all the trials and tribulations you kind of fought through in that race. That one had to feel good.
I was just wishing it would be over. Yeah, we started to fall off at the end, especially when we got all kinds of stuff on our tires with the blocking. Yeah, no, I just wanted it to be over. I kept looking back, hoping nobody would catch. I told Braden to just keep on going because he started defending a little bit. But yeah, no, it ended well.
Who would you like to thank?
Mike Speed Concepts Racing, Alex, Speed Lab Racing Engines, Mario, my mechanic Austin, everybody at Speed, Austin Garrison. Yeah, everybody that got me to this point.
There you guys have it. Fantastic drive from Nathan Golseth.
Thank you, Cameron, and indeed a great drive out of Nathan Golseth, putting himself onto the podium, finishing third. He'll be on the box. And there's a look at the pass for the lead. Mike Rollison, turn 11. There was opportunities yesterday for Mike to get that move in a turn 11, and he kept it in his back pocket all weekend long. And in the main event, he gets it done to go for the lead over Renato Jado de Veer. So that's the change. Raleigh, the boss of the Rawson Performance Group, leads this KA Masters, KA Super Masters main event. And a look further back with Paul LaFonte, Todd Shambo, Pilati and Kutcher, who has now reeled them all back in here.
No surprise to see Rollison to the top here. Just tons of experience again, as you would expect from the Master Super Master group. They all tend to have strong pace. Andy Kutcher, though, on a drive for recovery, getting one pass done there into 12, making another move up on KartPlex and making that position. Now, going to be looking to get past Shambo. I don't know, again, just looking at the margins, if Andy Kutcher can get a move all the way up. But for Andy Kutcher, that 496 is about 6 seconds back, 5 seconds back from Rollison. Now, in terms of pace, looking at Andy, it was a 59.9 last time through, and it was a minute .1 for Rollison. So there's a little bit of a pace difference, and that's, of course, with Andy in traffic, making another move to get past here. So for Andy Kutcher, this is heads down, hard driving.
Andy just got by Todd Shambo for 6th. And now it's Paul Lafonte, who sits on the podium place in 5th. As we look back up front, Enrique Vaca now the driver who's in 3rd. He's closed on in the top 2. With the driver in 4th, just looming, and Scott Falcone, and they've all gotten quite close to each other because Mike Rollison and Bernardo Jado David have started to fight here, and Bernardo went back on Mike during that lap to retake the lead.
And here's what we're going to start to see, those two fighting. That has invited Enrique Vaca to close that gap a bit more. Those two fighting more will invite Scott Falcone into the mix. Scott Falcone gets involved. Who magically gets right back up into the top battle? Andy Kutcher. It's not over for Andy, I would say, by a long shot here, as yes, there is a big gap, but again, as battles start to develop, as this race goes to its waning stages, and the pace is still in the favor of Andy right now, it's going to continue. Dive down the inside, Rollison back up to the lead.
Mike Rollison, turn number 12, goes to the lead of the race over Renato Jado David. Enrique Vaca still there in 3rd. Falcone in 4th, and Andy Kutcher now has only 4 drivers ahead of him. Falcone, next one on the list. He has extended his gap over the group behind with Paul Lafonte and company.
The gap that Andy Kutcher needs to make up, though, there you see it. That is a big margin to try to make up solo. Needs a little bit of help from the drivers in the top 4 battling, and then a little bit of pace disparity can do it. But it is a big margin, over 3 seconds, that needs to be made up here for Andy on to Scott Falcone to get up into the top 4, and then you have about another second that needs to be made up for the top 3. Gap 2.7 between Scott Falcone and Andy Kutcher at the line. Lap 12 of 20 going right now. We're sitting at 9 laps to go, including this one. I mean, Andy Kutcher is strong around MCC. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Andy is in the Pro-Am Challenge time and time again, does a great job. We'll see how this plays out for Andy. Can all of that knowledge, all of that experience throughout the year that he's gained, throughout the years that he's raced here at MCC, prove to make the difference?
And yesterday, I talked a little about Scott Falcone on the 499 having issues. A broken reed was the issue for Falcone yesterday, which is why we didn't see the pace he has had all throughout the year. A little bit of an off day yesterday, but today sits in 4th, fighting for a podium. But he's going to have to ask a little bit more out of the drivers ahead of him. A 59.8. He's been a 10th better, I should say. Just going to need some more out of the top 3, some more fighting, I should say, for Falcone to get into the mix here. And Renato looking over the shoulder, seeing where Enrique Vaca finds himself. He's still in 3rd, losing a little bit of touch here. Have to reel him back in. But Mike Rollison yesterday was, again, playing nice, if you will, with Renato. Today he passed him in 11, caught him by surprise. Now Renato is going to pass him right back into turn number 1. And Enrique Vaca is looking to follow. Turn number 2 for Vaca, not there. But he lets Mike Rollison know that he is.
Yeah, that's that gentleman's nicety that's going on right now. We're not down into the final few laps, so that was a case of look for a pass, didn't get the pass, and was okay to just settle back into 3rd. But look at Scott Falcone, that little scrap there for the lead, and then for 2nd has put Scott Falcone back into the bumper of Vaca, Rollison, and David. So that battle continues to develop, continues to move through, and then we look back further. Again, Kutcher, a good margin back. Fortunately for Andy Kutcher, last time through was not really faster than anyone here in the top 4 and just isn't making that margin at this point. So for Andy Kutcher, 5th might be the ceiling. Again, would really need some big scraps, some X30 junior level scraps out of the top 4, which I just don't anticipate these Masters, Super Masters really doing at this point.
Yeah, they have, again, opened up, I think, a little bit more. Now Mike Rawlson knows that he's missing something in comparison to Renato. Looking to get to work on the carburation here. He was looking like he was just adjusting on the needles as he was running up to turn number 4. I think he's waiting for another one of the straightaways to adjust, and you see him going down now. Adjusting the minutes there on his carburation and on the backstretch. See if Mike found what he needed, and now Falcone looking for a move for 3rd. Enrique Vaca, he's not going to find it into turn 12. 14, side-by-side contact. Vaca's off. Falcone is off. They get together, battling for 3rd. Falcone was looking for a move, and it didn't work.
Did not see that coming at all. That changes everything, and Falcone, big damage to the front end. Here's your Shop AKR replay.
Look at it, Falcone tried in a 13, didn't work. Inside of 14, up and over the curb. Just a low percentage move there. And he gets another side of Enrique Vaca. Unfortunately, both their days done.
Did not see that one coming at all, and wow. That was a ridiculous moment. That puts David in the front. That puts Rollison into 2nd. And who does that bring back into 3rd but the MCC driver himself of Andy Kutcher up into 3rd. That gap is about 3 seconds to Rollison. There's time. I never want to say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible, but man.
Yeah, nothing's impossible here, but again, with just 4 laps to go as we start lap number 17. This is looking a little bit out of the picture for both Mike Rawlison and Andy Kutcher because Renato Jader David has been a step above in this late stage. He's been able to continue the pace he's had, and Mike Rawlison has a problem. Mike Rawlison, hand in the air, has got a problem.
You couldn't write this in a storybook if you tried. Mike Rawlison very slow going through, trying to get out of the way here, gives the point by to Andy Kutcher, saying, hey, this is where you need to go by me. Andy Kutcher not able to get the pass here. I think isn't aware that Rawlison has a problem. Rawlison again the point by there. Andy gives the wave of thanks. Andy now up into 2nd place. Mike Rawlison very, very slow. Will he pull in at the end of this lap, or was it just a brief moment of a problem? Definitely hopping in the seat there, looking down, shakes the head.
He's going to continue, though. Mike's going to continue and try and bring it home. He's got a couple laps left. I don't know if the throttle cable snapped or what happened, but he looks busy on the right-hand side. Looks like his foot's still on the throttle, so it's going, but that thing looks like it's kind of bogging down on him throughout the straightaways, and now he's got to hold on to Enrique Vaca. It's really slow out of the corners. Mike's got Enrique right behind him. He's going to point him by. And it's whether or not he can hold on, and I don't think he will. I don't think he can. He's shaking his head. Carapalati's right behind him. Shambo's not awfully far back either.
I think Rawlison is going to be done. He's reaching through still. Just, you can tell the body language has changed there. Whatever it is that's happened, it's significant. And here is the pace dropping way off, really slow out of the corners. That is unusually slow. Is gonna stay going here for the 2 to go signal. Just needs to get to the end. Again, more point buys. I think he's just gonna continue.
He's off the podium.
Yeah,
he's off the podium now. So whatever the issue is, regardless of it, he's gonna try and finish the race. But again, this will be Raleigh's drop on the weekend. as he was looking for United States Pro Kart Series Championship this year in 2026. First time that we've seen him run a full schedule since back in 2023. And yeah, he's lost touch with Kara Pilati, who's going to get on the podium. Todd Shambo as well will join him. But up front, Renato Jader-David is going to be one lap away from victory here, Bradley.
Yeah, for Renato Jader-David, it's been such a great go here this weekend, having a great run and taking the white flag right now, coming through again, qualified on top over Andy Kutcher, over Mike Rollison, over Baca and Scott Carapaletti. That was your 5 in qualifying. In Heat 1, David had the issue on the outlap, had to take the extra outlap and had to take the extra moment to get the kart to fire off correctly, was having some sort of mechanical engine issue. We thought that was going to be a big problem, was able to rebound it with that extra outlap, and then it was last corner fighting. Andy Kutcher came out on top. David into Heat 2-1. Superheat went to Andy Kutcher. Had some fights with Andy Kutcher early on in this race, but in the end has been able to hold up front really well.
Fabio Orsolon's going to be fired up for his driver, Renato Jader-David. 3 corners away from taking the win.
And he'll come through the final corners now for David. It's been a wild weekend, and it's been a wild final, but after 20 laps here in KA 100 Master Supermaster, it will be Renato Jader-David who will come across the line to win. Andy Kutcher will come through for second, and third place on the day will come across as Enrique Baca.
Scott Carapalati will join them on the podium. Todd Shambo as well, up 3 spots, puts himself to 5th, and will be in the post-race ceremonies in KA Masters. And unfortunately, heartbreak for Mike Rollison, who did come across the line to nurse it home in 6th. And when you're thinking about the championship, that's a great way to kind of show the drivers, right? As wounded as you might be, you got to finish. And I'm sure when we go to the Lake Erie Grand Prix, he'll be happy that he did. But coming up next, Pro X30, Paulie Massimino, Jake Drew go head-to-head on the other side of this commercial break.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
22 laps of Rollison Performance Group Pro X30 are on deck. Paulie Massimino, Jake Drew get ready to lead this field to the green flag with Alan Isambard and James Overbeck on row number 2. Donovan Bonilla and Blake Nash will start on row number 3 with Ryan Raffa and John Antonino on row number 4. Hector Iturriaga and Fianchi will start on row number 5 to round up your top 5 rows and your top 10 starters.
P11, Davin Roberts with Finnegan Bailiff, the TKG driver, in 12th place. Emiliano Lima and Max Weiland, 13th and 14th. Marcelo Tortado in P15. Remy Andriados in P16. Wrigley Keys, Michael Maker, and Eli Warren rounding out your 19 starters here for the X30 Pro.
And it all comes down to this. Here at MCC, the final time that we'll visit here on the national circuit. Everybody passing on through. All that's left is the United States Pro Kart Series. All that's left is 2 main events. Pro X30, the first one of the 2 pros. Pro Division's going out. Pro Shifter will be coming up next after the conclusion of this one. But here we go. Massimino in Pro X30 competition on the year. He got a couple of wins earlier on at the start of the year. Won the Miami Grand National Championship as well. Won at the Carolina Grand Prix, the Indiana Grand Prix. Incident with John Antonino today looks to get another win. 2 out of 3 at the United States Pro Kart Series. Jake Drew is looking to deny him. $19 drivers in this Pro X30 main event. Paulie Massimino, Jake Drew, Alan Isambard, James Overbeck, Indiana Grand Prix winner Donovan Bonilla, Blake Nash, and more are getting ready to go, and it's all eyes on the BJRLN kart on the inside. Lights are out, and Pro X30 is underway.
And what a start for Pro X30 going along. Again, you see the difference inside to outside line. Jake Drew dropping down into 3rd, and it is Alan Isambard up into 2nd. James Overbeck holding 4th place right now. We did have one kart dip 2 wheels off. That looked to be Emiliano Lima, who dipped 2 wheels off and was trying to hold on to it, was able to, but for now, we'll be shuffling through, down the hill through 11, now up the hill. Everybody through for the first time around.
Everybody make it through, but Jake Drew had a struggle start again on that outside line. Shuffling back, Donovan Bonilla looking on the inside, and at turn 13, he's gonna get it. Donovan up to 2nd, and Blake Nash looking to recover a couple of the spots lost at the start. He just went by on Ryan Raffa. That was back for 6th.
Big shuffles up and down the grid, but if there's anything to know from Pro X30, it's not done. There we go. That is James Overbeck trying to make a statement, get up into the top 4 there, making a great move through as he is trying to fight his way up to go against his teammate of Paulie Massimino.
Yeah, James Overbeck with a big send on Alan Isambard. He's able to get clear for 3rd. Jake Drew as well goes by, and Isambard now back to 5th. Iturriaga is the next one in line, who sits in 6th. Roberts, Nash, Raffa, and Antonino. That's on the top 10. Stack up here at the moment. But it's Blake Nash, it's Paulie Massimino and James Overbeck at the front, and it's going to change for 3rd. Jake Drew, the shoe, makes the move into turn 13.
Jake Drew looking to have a strong weekend along here, trying to find more points, more runs here where he can, and for at least the start here, has done a great job to get up in 3rd. It's going to be the teammate of Bonilla up into 2nd. The Evil Knievel Burger King helmet there, really looking to find more, has 1 win on the day, and for the person that we know as a brother, we know is going to be looking for a win to make sure we say his name twice in a day.
Yeah, Grace Overbeck's trying to get there. They're trying to get closer to Paulie Massimino, but again, Jake has shown that hand early, wanting to get himself through, and he did just that. Now we look in with Davin Roberts, who's just gotten by the 346 of Iturriaga for 6th. And up at the front, Dono Bonilla starting to close on in to Paulie Massimino. And they're working their way onto the front stretch. Donovan's going to get a pretty big toe on the run down to turn number 1.
Through turn 1, trying to carry that momentum. Donovan Bonilla closing in closer to Massimino. I really am surprised right now that that gap is not a little bit closer between Massimino and Bonilla. Bonilla and Drew looking very close here, and I wouldn't be surprised to watch Jake Drew try to make a move. A look over the shoulder from Jake Drew, trying to gauge where James Overbeck is, where Alan Isambard is, and what is the best decision here, as you have, again, 2 teammates behind each other. At this point, no team game is going to be played. I wouldn't expect anything to come through there, but Jake Drew is your fastest card on track. So, you know, while it's no team games of a pull over and let me by, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're Donovan Bonilla, if Jake Drew goes for the pass, you're not going to fight it too hard right now.
How many times have we talked about Paulie Massimino up at the front, outnumbered by, you know, whoever it might be, either 2 RPGs, you know, 2 Burrells, whatever you want to call it. This weekend, James Overbeck has turned it up, and he is, again, getting ready to take the fight to Jake Drew and Donovan Bonilla, who have been outnumbering Paulie for a long time in this Pro X30 division. And there's a look at the points as well as how they currently run. Drew would sit in second, Nash would be in third, Roberts, and then a Rafa. That's your top 10, your top 5, I should say, in the championship standings. So critical for Drew to try and hop over Bonilla and over Paulie as well.
Yeah, Drew needs to get up into the front here, and even with those championship implications, this is a case of trying to keep the championship charge alive going into the Ohio Grand Prix here. On the end of the day, you want to be able to come out of this and say the championship is still up for grabs here. If Massimino can get the big win now, that gets harder and harder to say going into the next round.
And both Drew and Paulie now have put themselves up to the front of the 2 of them close friends. And they've been fighting closely, I think even more so this year than they have in quite some time in both of their careers. We'll see Jake Drew, turn number 11. He's all over his rear bumper. Bonilla right there, and Overbeck struggling at the moment. Isambard's gonna pass him. James Overbeck's got a problem.
No.
James Overbeck hit in the air with a problem, and now a pass for the lead. Paulie Massimino left on his own. Up at the front, Jake Drew has taken the lead of this main event.
The one thing you can never predict in karting is a mechanical failure, and when that happens, it is the worst feeling here as Overbeck tumbles down the order. That is his day done. He pulls off in turn 12. The 348 is done for.
Something's gone horribly wrong for James Overbeck, because now Isambard's going to go into turn number 4 on Donovan Bonilla. Isambard is clear.
Isambard now up into third, now can start putting pressure on Massimino. And again, now we see Massimino not in the lead. And who is Jake Drew fighting for points, fighting for a championship contention here in Pro X30. Gets the move done, up into the front. It's an RPG leading RPG Pro X30.
And now we look at everybody else who's been promoted. Roberts now on the podium in 5th. Antonino in 6th. Iturriaga there in 7th, still running with his front pack. But Jake Drew, that time around, he was a 10th and a half better than Paulie Massimino in lap times as Bailiff's looking for a move on Ryan Rafa in turn number 2.
Bailiff down in 10th place right now. The TKG here trying to find some moves forward and trying to fight forward to get into the top 5, at least up into 9th place now. Has to continue to push.
We'll send it on down to Cameron, who's got a little bit more.
Thank you, guys. Caught up with Davin Roberts and his father before they went out for this one. Starting a little bit further back in that field, but felt super confident. Ultimately said the key to this one was going to be making moves in those early laps, my apologies. As soon as he gets to the rear bumper of somebody, making that move, moving himself forward to have a battle come those last couple of laps, and we've seen just that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if Davin Roberts thinks about a move here soon.
Yeah, thank you, Grayson. he's really kind of picked his moves quite perfectly. 6 spots gained, and we're only on lap number 9 of this main event. Very, very long, 22 laps. That is a long time to keep those MG yellows under you. For Davin Roberts, he just went by on Donovan Bonilla in turn number 4, and Bonilla also one of the drivers that showed really good pace early on in this race. The first 5 laps, Bonilla was lights out. Since then, hasn't been the same case, and that's one of the things that I think Jake Drew was struggling to understand a little bit, especially going back and forth. The GFC was really good on the Avinco Blue and the MG Red, really good on the KA100 senior side of things, and then on the X30 it struggled a little bit, and one of Jake's things was always understanding the tire, understanding the softer compound. Now, going back to something he's a little bit more familiar to on the OTK, you look at his time that he spent with Ryan Perry Motorsports for quite some time before making the move over to GFC, now being back on the OTK product, what it's like for him, now getting that tire under you, understanding it, knowing when to push, knowing when to ask a little bit more, wanting to extract that next 2%, that next percent throughout the last, couple of stages, couple of laps of this race. And that's one thing that Paulie, I think, has done quite well in these last 2 years, understanding and getting better, and also maturing, I think, in the sense of going out there and winning races and, controlling races as well. Guy in front of you, how do you close him down? How do you keep it under you? And I think he's doing a perfect job of that because, yes, lap 3, lap 4, lap 5, lap 6, Massimino was down in comparison to Jake Drew, but over the last 2 laps, he has been marginally better. It's very minimal, the difference, but stuff like that adds up, and we're just at the halfway point, just about across it. And this is where I think we've seen Paulie really come to life in 2026, and even you saw sparks of it last year at Road America. Yep. It all changed. It was a flip of the switch, round number 3. We're a year removed from that first win in Pro X30 from Paulie, and he's a completely different driver than what he was 365 days ago.
Yeah, Pro X30 is such a challenging class, but once you get it under you and it clicks, it truly does click, and that's what we're seeing with Paulie Massimino. That's what Jake Drew is currently doing. Just these drivers here in the front, it has clicked something. The switch is flipped, however you want to phrase that saying. It is all together, and it is working very well for them. And the thing that I'm noticing with Massimino, I keep seeing Paulie just reach over, and it's slight adjustments to the radiator cover, trying to restrict that airflow, limit that airflow into that X30 package here, and that changes how the engine performs and how warm it gets. It keeps it in that proper operating window. Half sticks up, halfway down, halfway up, halfway to go. Lap 12 of 22.
And the story up at the front, again, is something that I talked about a little bit earlier between Jake Drew and Paulie Massimino. Those are 2 guys that almost, it feels like for the last 5 years, last 4 years, last 3 years, really, they have sat in the shadows of 2 drivers that have been so dominant here at the United States Pro Kart Series and really in 125cc competition period, right? Obviously, Joe Turney in the last 3 years being as good as he's been, but I think even more so Joe not racing and hasn't really taken part this year in USPKS. But for Jake Drew and Paulie Massimino, it's been Austin Garrison and Ryan Norberg on the American side of things that have been at the front more often than not on this OTK product. One of them with Speed Concepts, and Jake Drew, with that team that he was with, so dominant with Ryan Norberg. And this is the first year where these 2 have really broken out into the spotlight. For Paulie's case, winning races. Jake looking for that first one after the move over with the Rawson Performance Group. Is how do you do, right, in the spotlight? How do you perform? How do you react to being in situations like this? That's the biggest thing, right? Because the equipment can be under you, but it's what's under the helmet. Everything, inside, the mental side of things, being calm in situations like this where you're over the halfway point, where you got Paulie Massimino chasing you down, and you got, guys with nothing to lose, and Alan Isambard and Davin Roberts and Donovan Bonilla and John Antonino that are going to give it all just for a race win while you're looking for a championship. That, I think, adds a little bit more pressure to the 2 drivers that are first and second on the racetrack than it does for everybody third on back.
It absolutely adds more pressure, and you really, really have to think about it when it comes down to it, because that difference is astronomical in the amount of pressure. Big pass there coming through as the 301 of Bonilla is now getting passed by Antonino, and those positions will shuffle further back through. Your top 2, they haven't pulled nearly as much of a gap as they would like to. That's the thing. Remember, when these 2 start battling, third place on back will then close in, and then all of a sudden it's all hands on deck to try to fight through. But this is where these Pro X30 drivers, where the term pro really comes in. They are smart. They know right now. Paulie Massimino knows that he could go for a pass on Jake Drew. You know, we see it in micro and mini Swift. It's pass on pass on pass on pass. These drivers know that there has to be a little bit more thought, a little bit more setup. It takes a little bit more to get the pass done. You can't just kind of go for an unsuspecting lunge that you surprise yourself with. It's got to be you surprise Jake Drew with it. And for Paulie Massimino, it doesn't seem like that has set up yet. Paulie Massimino just holding to the rear, because here's the problem. Massimino mistimes this attempt to go for the pass. Davin Roberts, who's your hard charger, is ready to capitalize.
Yeah.
Everyone behind is ready.
And you really can't talk enough about Davin Roberts right now. 8 spots gained. And when you look at the last couple laps he's had, he's matched Paulie Massimino and both Jake Drew. Cameron, we'll send it on down to you.
Thank you, guys. Watching this first sector here, Paulie Massimino looks substantially better through the sectors of 2, 3, 4. But as we get onto these longer straightaways, down the back straightaway and along this front straightaway as well, it looks like Jake Drew might just have one less tooth. He gets that little bit extra pull on the top end, whereas Paulie's really having to work for it out of these hairpins. So I wouldn't think we would really see a pass happening into turn 1, more likely into the 2 or 3 sector.
And a very good note there by Cameron as she's watching on trackside. The differences in between these two, out of the corners and into the high-speed sectors. This one continues to draw to a close, and both of these drivers taking one another into deep waters of this main event, where these pros over the last 2 years have, again, been pushed to the limit. 22 laps will feel like an eternity in the car. He's got to hold on as Antonino now puts himself to 4th. Isambard's got Bonilla right behind him, the last of the podium places. But Paulie Massimino is breathing down the neck of Jake Drew as the laps continue to run out. Massimino looking for his second win on the year at the United States Pro Kart Series, and as crazy as it is to say it, Jake Drew looking for his first win ever in Pro X30. In his time with Ryan Perry, he couldn't get one. In his time with GFC, pole positions at the Super Nationals never really concreted into results. And here this weekend, this is one of the best opportunities that Jake Drew has had in recent memory to stand finally at the top step of the podium. Wins in K100 Senior in the national scene here at the USPKS. But now he's going to fall back to second. Paulie Massimino has taken the lead in turn number 7. He leads this main event over Jake Drew.
It's not done. This is far from over, though. We're only lap 17 of 22. Paulie Massimino making that pass stick again. That was a well-timed pass that he set up for several laps looking in that sector, and just was able to capitalize on the go here, as we now have Antonino ahead of Roberts. Davin Roberts now down to 4th. John Antonino up to 3rd, and you see the hand signals. It's clear. John Antonino wants more, wants to get up to the top 2, wants to battle, and for Massimino right now, needs to run away.
He needs to try and get away from Jake Drew one way or another, but I don't think that's going to happen here, Bradley. Drew still holding with a BJRLN kart and following closely, might I add. That was one of the things that it looked like it was quite difficult for Paulie to do for a little bit. Cameron mentioned it. Coming out of some of the slow speed corners, like Paulie was really working for it, but Jake looks really good. Out of turn 11, you're able to maintain the distance between himself and Paulie Massimino. They got to be careful because there's 2 young guns, and John Antonino, the rookie, and the sophomore in the division, and Davin Roberts, only 14 years old, who sits in 4th. And then it's Padilla, who's now gotten ahead of Alan Isambard. And now a pass, it looked like, for the lead. It will be. It's not going to be. Jake Drew thought about it. But I think he showed Paulie maybe a little something there on the front stretch. Maybe a preview here, Bradley. Go ahead.
Yeah, look here, because this is now the problem that Drew, we talked about it yesterday a lot, going back into the KA senior class when we asked Caden McQueen about his move around the outside of 2. Did you show your hand too early? Here's the thing with Jake Drew. You got to show your hand at some point. Did he show his hand too early into this run? Can he defend it? That's the question.
And another thing to add for Jake Drew, you need to be decisive as to when to make that move. It needs to be done with confidence. It needs to be done with poise. And again, you really didn't see that a lap ago when they were going down the front straightaway. It looked like a little bit of uncertainty. Thought twice about it. Almost 3 times it looked like as they were running onto the front stretch. Now Jake Drew, he's going to go side by side with Paulie Massimino to the bottom. Going to be a move around the outside for Drew. It's not going to be. But now, keep an eye on John Antonino, who's getting brought right back into the mix. 3 laps to go, it looks like here. And Massimino and Jake Drew are wheel-to-wheel, door-to-door into turn number 4. Antonino has now arrived on the scene, and along with him is Davin Roberts and Donovan Bonilla, always there to pick up the leftovers one way or another. He finds a way to win in spectacular fashion. Could this be the day again for Donovan Bonilla to pick up the leftovers? As Massimino goes to the bottom in 11, and Drew's going to get a good exit.
Watch that outside there. Antonino trying to go through as Drew and Massimino trying to sort themselves out. All of a sudden, we went from a 2-kart runaway to a 5-kart tango, a 6-kart party even as we come through, because Isambard is on the back of this train. Where did Alan Isambard come from? All of a sudden, as the popsicle sticks come out, Paulie Massimino has went from the weight of 1 kart to the weight of the world here, trying to get the win in Pro X30 around the outside. Here we go for Drew, side by side with Antonino, trying to get the move done. Antonino up into second.
And the rookie trying a gutsy move on the outside of turn number 2. It worked, but only for second. Massimino's in the lead. Antonino is in second, then a Drew, and then a Roberts, who's also having to go with things on the outside. It's not going to work. He's going to stay in line. He's going to stay put. Isambard's still there. We're down to a lap and a half, and we have 6 in the picture for the race win as Massimino defends in a turn 11.
Massimino going all the way to that inside line here. Antonino following through. Drew thought about a peek outside to inside, and these 6 pros holding it here nose to tail, coming out of the final corners, heading down the front stretch, coming through.
And here we go. White flag in the air to Porter Weisenso, the black and white for Donovan Bonilla, who's under investigation. 1 lap to go. Paulie Massimino in a turn number 2 is going to put it to the bottom. Keep an eye on Roberts, looking to rip the high side. It looks like he might get Drew. Willie, they're still door-to-door, side by side, and Drew's got to make way. Through goes Isambard.
A Newcastle rematch incoming here all the way along, and well, I'm having flashbacks. How does this end, though, is the question. Massimino looking very good right now into 6-7 as he goes through. Antonino in second, little bit of breathing room back to Roberts in third as they come through the S's down the hill towards turn 11 to go up towards 12.
And here we go, the third sector is incoming. Paulie Massimino over the rookie and John Antonino, the 2 of them fighting for the lead, fighting for the win at the Indiana Grand Prix, and it all came undone, and Donovan Bonilla took the win. He's further back. Paulie Massimino out of 14. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Antonino's got to run. Antonino looking to get alongside Paulie Massimino. They're side by side, but Paulie Massimino is going to hold on. Massimino wins the Ohio Grand Prix.
John Antonino less than a 10th there beside Paulie Massimino to try to go for the win. Davin Roberts in third. And what about Alan Isambard there in 4th place? Donovan Bonilla in 5th. Jake Drew, unfortunately, the race unraveling, falls to 6th place.
Another heartbreak for Jake Drew in the 329. But for Paulie Massimino, what a year he is having. What a display, what a show that he's put on. And years of hard work with Brandon Jarsakrak, with the entire BJR crew, with BBS to take the fight, to be the standard in Pro X30. He's that. He's all that and more.
Absolutely he is. Paulie Massimino defining things here in X30. It's amazing to see.
Nothing's going to deny the 308 this year. 2 wins on the season. And he heads into Lorraine very, very comfortable. It couldn't be the day for Bonilla, and it couldn't be the day for Jake Drew. And for Paulie, it will be. He wins on Sunday.
Jake? No. So I tied? Who got it?
Paulie, what a race there. I can see you trying to catch your breath. Sweating after this one. It's hot. Long race there. A lot of defending, and kind of looked like it was a little bit difficult to keep yourself in the position that you wanted to be. Talk me through that one.
Yeah, I thought it was great. All weekend we kind of knew that we were struggling on short run pace. It seemed like we just couldn't get up to speed as fast as everybody else. So we kind of knew that going into the final. So I knew I was going to have to hang on in the beginning and just manage and stay, in the top 3 to give myself a shot. And then when Jake got by me, somebody else came in there and hit me sideways. That's how Jake was able to pull away in that little bit of a gap. But then I was just driving as hard as I could. I was hoping I didn't burn up the tires too fast. But it seems like, obviously I didn't. But, yeah, my plan wasn't even to start blocking, but then that's just kind of my normal line that I take every time I come out of there. And he was on my outside, so I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this. And then I saw the other people close in behind, so I figured, you know what, I know there's only 4 or 3, whatever laps there is left. I watched the X30 Junior race, so didn't seem impossible as long as you didn't crash, so that's what I did, and it worked out for me.
Yeah, another really good result for the BJR team. Who would you like to thank? What does this mean to you?
Yeah, I can't thank the whole BJR team. Our X30 program is just stepping up over and over again. We don't have as many X30 drivers as other teams, so it's a little bit more, it's just a little harder on the development side, but now, James starting to run it. Even our new driver, Hector, he showed really good improvements this weekend, so we have a program that's slowly building more and more. But yeah, the whole BJR crew, my parents, of course, BBS Racing Engines for the awesome horsepower, Apex Apparel, Offset, Next Set, Odenthal, Wiggity Wayne, David Cole, and then everybody else who supports me.
Congratulations, Paulie.
Thank you.
Back to you guys in the booth.
There you guys have it. Paulie Massimino, your winner in Pro X30. And not a lot of time for us to catch our breaths here. The shifters have now worked their way out onto the racetrack, and there's a look at the current standings. Jake Drew is going to be second. Blake Nash, Davin Roberts, Ryan Raffa, that's a look at the top 5. Bonilla up to 7th, with Massimino leading this championship with 1,429 points, and Drew's going to sit 263 back going into Lorraine. And this championship is also something that we're going to touch on. Pro Shifter is on deck. Adrian Renneton, the Frenchman, gets ready to lead this field to green. Gavin Bailiff is going to start alongside him. And one of the most favored starting spots here at MCC, it's the outside. Mateo Pappas starting on the inside of row number 2 with Justin White, who is outside. Marcus Kayak, row number 3 alongside Riley Pecker.
Jonathan Ocasio will start inside row 4 with outside row 4. Gavin Ivey, Mitchell Lowry, and Ian Quinn. Only 10 pro shifters taking on this run, but you have so much talent up and down this pack. I'm very, very excited to see how it plays out. What is going to be the battle between Kayak, Bailiff, Renneton? We saw some glimpses of it yesterday. Renneton, in the interview post-race said, hey, it was a tire disadvantage. That's all moot today. Where are we at with it?
One more. It's all come down to this. For the 3rd round in 2026 of the United States Pro Kart Series, the Ohio Grand Prix, 18 laps of some of the fastest racing in the Midwest today. They are getting ready to get the lights. Adrian Renneton starting on the inside. Bailiff looking for his first win in KZ here at home. 18 laps of pro shifter main event racing. We've got them all lined up. We look over to the lights. Reddington on the inside, Bailiff on the outside. Pro shifter, the Ohio Grand Prix is underway, and the whole shot goes the way of Gavin Bailiff.
And away through turn 2 and 3 we go, and Gavin Bailiff on the line was lined up to the left, pointing to the apex of 1. Knew right away, needed that jump, and Reddington was unable to answer the call at the moment as Bailiff took off, and that changes the front runners already. Now Gavin Bailiff already head down, already doing what needs to be done through 11.
Yeah, great start for Gavin Bailiff as well. A great start for Marcus Kayak, already getting himself to 3rd. Mateo Pappas now the driver who's in 4th, with Justin White right behind him. And that's the look at the top 5. That's a look at the podium places as they're currently running here in this opening lap at MCC. And a great start, like we mentioned, out of Gavin Bailiff. Is Justin White looking for a move on the inside of Mateo Pappas. They're still door to door. White looking, still looking, and he's not going to be denied. Justin White to 4th.
Justin White with a great move there in the cart to get along. That was a hard fought move for Justin White, but was able to come around there to get along. Up front, you have the 7 and the 14, Bailiff and Reddington. The Burrell Art, you have the Sodi driver trying to make a race along here, trying to find some momentum to move through and get any sort of advantage that can be found. Here's the problem, they're so close on pace right now. It's a lot to go through, but look at 3rd place. Look at Kayak. Kayak closing in now, and for Marcus Kayak, that is very important early on.
Yeah, very, very important. The question is long run pace, right? Making these MG Yellows last the entirety of these 18 laps. And we talked about how, difficult or how aggressive, I should say, MCC is on the tires, specifically the right rear, right? That's the one that really takes you beating. You talk about turn number 2, turn number 1, as well turn number 4, turn number 11, turn number 12. The right rear really takes you beating at this place, nursing everything as well, just making sure you have enough towards the end of this race to still be as fast as everybody else. And that's the thing that Adrian Reddington was talking about yesterday in his post-race interview, right? After finishing in 3rd behind both Marcus and Gavin, he said, look, these guys got better tires than me. That's why they're out there, beating me in the superheat. But I think our Sodi is going to be great throughout the long run pace tomorrow, because we haven't yet all been on equal playing field. It's either been Gavin with an issue, either Marcus with an issue, and Reddington played runner-up to both of them, while both of them had those fresher tires. So that's the question here from Adrian Reddington, because the long run pace out of the Sodis has been spectacular. You talk about what Mateus Morgado has done. Granted, he's on the sister team, the in-house, if you want to call it the factory team here in the United States for the Sodi package with Velocity Racing Sodi. Adrian with Velocity at the start of the year, moving over with Carblos, moving over to his engine builder here in the States, is, all right, now what do you do? How do you tune differently? How do you adjust? Because at the moment, he is right there with Gavin Bailiff, keeping him honest at the moment. And the Browns have also been great throughout the year, specifically here. And Gavin, right, how can you doubt him at a track that you know so well? We don't have to talk about, everything else that comes with it, but a track that Bailiff knows like the back of his hand. If you're Adrian Reddington, how do you get up there? When do you get up there? When is the right time to make a move?
Right now for Adrian Reddington, it looks like there's a little bit of follow the leader that is being held on to, a little bit of stick behind Gavin Bailiff, learn a little bit of what Gavin's doing. And here's the problem, sticking behind is proving to maybe not be a good decision. Fastest lap, 52.737 from the 3rd place driver there, Marcus Kayak, who is really looking to make some moves in that Macron Motorsports Formula K, wants to get back up here. And I don't think we need to reiterate, of course, Bailiff and Kayak, Indiana Grand Prix. I don't think we need to reiterate what happened last time.
Cameron, we'll send it on down to you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, just want to bring you guys another perspective here. In the same situation that you guys are talking about, when is the right time for Reddington to make a move? Why now, right? This is a long race. He doesn't need to push any harder than he needs to just stay on the bumper of Gavin. Let Gavin drive hard. Let Gavin burn his tires up so that he still has some tires later in this race when it matters. There's no reason for him to go to the lead now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a move till much later in this race.
That's a very good point there out of Cameron Reed. Cameron with some shifter experience of her own as well. A couple of years, raced in Vegas as well as did a full season over at the Texas Racing Series. And again, very good point, right? Because when you are usually that lead car, you are driving that little bit harder into the corners to stay ahead, to be ahead. And you see Gavin, right? He's out there pushing, fastest lap of the race, 52.6. Pushing a little bit more. Renanden's holding about a 10th back at the moment. Very, very good point there by Cameron. And then the likes, Marcus Kayak as well, right? The situation that he's in, he's pushing and trying to get up to these top two. And we're just at about 3 laps away from the halfway point when we get to lap number 9. And again, if you heard it from Cameron, no rush for Adrian Renanden for now. But it will come at one point to try and get ahead of the number 7 of Gavin Bailiff, who so far has put together a really strong race, right? Breaking out, jumping off the line perfectly, you know, has checked all the boxes, has checked them all, half of them off, right? You still have hold Adrian Rennerton back, hold Marcus Kayak back, and, you know, big picture, win the race. Those are the last 3 he has to check off.
Here's the thing that I worry, though, about those boxes. What have we seen through every single final today? It's not over till it's over. The final lap, the final corner, it's not over till it's over. And drag races to the line, deciding things by less than half a tenth at times. 3 milliseconds changing things. So it is just a case of, you know, nothing's over till it's over. Right now, Bailiff does look comfortable, does look confident. Kayak, though, again, going even faster. I don't know what they've done with these MG Yellows, but they are absolutely sending it and continuing to find time here, halfway approaching into this race. So at what point, who hits the cliff first of tire fall-off, and at what point do they hit the cliff of tire fall-off?
Well, that's the first big response out of Marcus Kayak, who's running in third, a 52.5. That was, again, a really good lap, fastest of the race, but it's still not better in comparison to what Gavin Bailiff, it's not that much better than what Gavin Bailiff is doing, because he's still improving as well. 52.553, it's marginal, right? Now, this lap by Marcus Kayak was pretty good, a 52.425. That's where he's starting to continue to pick it up. And like we mentioned, this is the halfway point. We're on lap number 9, and if you compare the times in between Kayak and Bailiff, Kayak is starting to slowly turn it up here a little bit, continuing to pick up the pace, continuing to turn it up. And there's a look at the difference in between Adrian Rennan and Marcus Kayak. Consistently, the driver out of Estonia has been better than the Frenchman over the last 3 laps here.
And now he's on the back of Adrian Rennan. This is where things get hard, though, regardless of those lap times being a couple tenths, a few tenths different one way or the other. A little bit of contact there, the front bumper hitting the back bumper there of the Frenchman. Kayak to the back of Rennan there through 13. Now coming down the front stretch as cross flags are out. We are officially half up, half down, and this is the point where we need to see Kayak make a move quick. It's into turn 2. Kayak up to second. Now he chases after the TKG.
And now with Marcus Kayak getting ahead of Adrian Rennan, what do you got? You got to leave it all on the table now. 9 laps to go, and Gavin Bailiff currently sits at about 1.5 seconds. And you look at the lap times once again, Marcus Kayak. The question was long run, right? That was usually the story over in Indiana. That was a story the last couple of years in Las Vegas as well, which is really a, you know, you can put that in a jar of its own. But on his 7th start here, it's looking pretty good as we've gone over the crest of the halfway point. He has been picking it up consistently and has been that little bit better than Gavin Bailiff, lap and lap again. You see the bottom Bailiff's times, the red meaning that he's gone, that Kayak's been that little bit better. 2 tenths going back the way of Gavin Bailiff, and it's going to be really the game right now. The name of the game is going to be marginal, right? Who can go better? Where can you go better? What lap? How big are the differences? But for Bailiff, I got to reiterate, one of the best opportunities he's had to get his first win at this circuit, where I think he's tried harder than anywhere else.
He's got to push at this point. And really for Gavin Bailiff, he's found in this awkward no man land opportunity where it's, it's push, but don't over push. His biggest enemy right now is going to be himself and the potential to want to overdrive this. You're in the front, you want to stay in the front, and you want to push all the way through, but the key to a strong driver is knowing how to dial back 98%, 97%. You don't have to go 110% time and time again. You can dial that back a little bit, and then knowing at what point we crank the knob, we turn the heat on high, we boil the water, and we absolutely send it. And I do believe that Gavin Bailiff has that knowledge and knows that this is the position that you're in. Kayak has had to push so hard to this point to get up to second. Does Kayak have enough to answer through? Adrian Reninen, sitting in third right now, has been pretty consistent the entire race with those lap times as well. And I think for Reninen, it's that Reninen knows how to find those times and how to hit those marks that need to be hit and not over push. But for Reninen, I think we need to find that 1 or 2% more to get back up to the front.
Yeah, and if Adrian was holding anything back throughout the start of this race, he's got to turn it up now, right? It's really now or never, because we're getting closer and closer. We've now completed 12 laps, 6 laps to go. And if you're Adrian Reninen, right, something's got to give. You got to turn it up. Got to take it back to Marcus Kayak, and that time he lost 0.2 in comparison to Marcus. And Marcus also isn't catching. He's a 10th down in comparison to Gavin Bailiff, who has continued to hit that stride, to hit that lap. He is matching, might I add, his best lap at a 52.478. Gavin Bailiff last time around a 52.48, showing that his pace at this stage of the race, right, when you think he's pushing hard early on, when you think Adrian Reninen shouldn't go for the lead, he is continuing to hit that stride, continuing to break through, continuing to set in consistent lap times.
Bailiff is in a really, really good position. 5 to go hand signal being given now as we cross the line to complete lap 13. For Gavin Bailiff, again, it's head down, it's focus, it's hit all of your marks for the TKG driver of Gavin Bailiff. Do everything that you need to do here. Gap at the line was 1.5 seconds. Marcus Kayak was the fastest car on track, starting further down the order, fought all the way up to second, but now it's sitting here, the Formula K Macron Motorsports driver, holding in second right now, ahead of the Sodi Carbless Racing Engine Team driver of Adrian Reninen, who looks to be closing back on Marcus Kayak now, little by little.
Well, the FIA World Championships conflict with the final round of the United States Pro Kart Series. For Adrian Reninen, that might not be something that he's going to worry about, because if all things stand the way that they are, this could very well solidify the championship in the next 4 laps for Reninen. He would clinch with a 3rd place finish here today. That would be enough to take the #1 plate into 2027 here at the United States Pro Kart Series for Marcus Kayak in second. Again, another one that we are not sure if we're going to see him out in the rain for the final round of the championship, or I'm sure he's going to try and take the fight to everybody at the World Championships in Le Mans this year, where his teammate Emilian Denner was able to win the Europeans earlier on. They have their sights set on a World Championship. Regardless of that, that's in a month's time. The race today, Marcus Kayak has not had an answer over the last couple laps to Gavin Bailiff, who has continued to hit his stride in this main event.
Gavin Bailiff last time across the line, 52.491. Gavin Bailiff's best lap, 52.478. I mean, the consistency writes itself for Gavin Bailiff, just really using all the knowledge that he can, all of the ability that he has here to just hit shifts and go through and continue along.
And we were here about a month and a half ago for the RMC Americas Trophy, and Gavin Bailiff got his first win here in his backyard, and everybody said, oh, it's the FZ125, that the competition wasn't really there. He said the one he wanted was the one the following weekend at the SCUSA Pro Tour. That didn't come together because nobody was going to die Mateus Morgado this year at the SCUSA Pro Tour. But this weekend, on another opportunity at the United States Pro Kart Series, I don't know what the argument will be, because against some of the best in the world, and the likes of Marcus Kayak and the likes of Adrian Reneden, he has put on an absolute clinic at home. And as the championship points stand, Adrian Reneden would be better than his teammate in Justin White in second, and Bailiff would try and move up a couple of more spots here, Bradley.
Yeah, coming into the final lap here for Gavin Bailiff, a strong driver, and you got to say, you know, you brought that up. What would be the argument this weekend for Bailiff winning through and saying, oh, you know, you wanted this one, but you didn't get it? There's no argument. You're beating Kayak, you're beating Reneden, and you're doing so in a strong fashion. Gap, 2.3 seconds last time across the line, and the consistency cannot be denied. 52.5 last time across the line for the start of lap 7, or the end of lap 17, start of lap 18. Gavin Bailiff has just been on another tier today.
And this Sunday, August 9th, the third round of the United States Pro Kart Series, the Ohio Grand Prix, is going to be a day that the Bailiff family, a day that Cincinnati, Ohio will never forget. Gavin Bailiff is finally a winner at MCC in KZ.
Marcus Kayak comes across the line, fought all the way back up into second place, and the Frenchman, Adrian Reneden, comes across the line in third, able to lock that position in here. Kayak got past, but wasn't able to catch up to your winner, Gavin Bailiff, as they have a good high five there as they pace their way in.
And there's a look at the unofficial results. We lost Gavin Ivey. Ian Quinn did not take part on the action today, excluded. Mitchell Lowry, Riley Pegram, Jonathan Ocasio will stand and won't be on the podium here today. Mateo Pappas will join Justin White, Adrian Renard, and Marcus Kayak. And your winner on Sunday in Gavin Bailiff. And the FZ didn't quite have enough power to send some donuts around. We'll see if the shifter does. It does. We'll see if Gavin opts to do them or not. But you see the respect out of Kayak, you see the respect out of Adrian. They have gone to war for the last 2 rounds of this championship. But through it all, the signs of sportsmanship in between the two. For Gavin Bailiff, he's going to come in and pick up some of the marbles. And how could he not, right? How could he not put on a show?
Come on, Gavin.
Here at home, Gavin Bailiff is going to burn the front stretch down here in his backyard. Your winner on Sunday. He'll take out some of the barriers in doing so, but he's going to work his way into the scale lines. Gavin Bailiff has done it. You can hear the cheers from everybody here at MCC. Let's listen in.
Gavin, this one's got to feel so good. We were here a couple weeks ago for RMC. You got it done in the FZ, but it wasn't what you wanted. You wanted to get it done in this package here. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. We worked really hard all weekend. Got to thank Mike for tuning the carburetor, Dom for sending us the engine, Aaron for wrenching on it all weekend. I know we had our one DNF in the heat, but we showed pace all weekend and showed that we could get it done in the final. Just got to thank everyone that came out. Thank my mom, my dad, my girlfriend for coming and supporting me, and everyone that puts in the effort out here. Can't thank you all enough.
Well, we still got one massive race in just a few months' time. How does this help that confidence going into Supernats?
It helps a ton. I mean, we've learned so much over the year with the chassis. Learning at this racetrack definitely, I think, applies for Supernats. It's a little bit of the same characteristics, and yeah, I think we've got a lot of confidence going in. Just got to make sure everything's at tip-top shape, and we should be able to fight for the win.
Is that the next one at the top of the to-do list? I know this one was hanging on there for a while.
This one's still hanging on there. Still want to win the SCUSA race here, but yeah, Super Nats is always at the top. It's taller than anything in my book of wins, so I think that's going to be the ultimate goal.
Well, congratulations here today. Gavin Bailiff, your winner and Pro Shifter.
Well, Gavin Bailiff gets it done, and you can see, right, not satisfied. Still looking for more, wants to win again the SCUSA race. Adrian Reneden should be good to mathematically clinch this championship in 2026. Justin White back by 213 points. Gavin Bailiff in third. Marcus Kayak fourth. Mateo Pappas, your top five. There's also your podium here today. And that is a standings pre-drop. Jay Irwin only having done a couple of races. Billy Musgrave as well. But that's it, the look at the championship. And Adrian Reneden only won one round this year. The same for Billy Musgrave, only took part over at Newcastle Motorsports Park. That's how they stand, and it'll change as well with the drops, where there's a tie for 7th. Mitchell Lowry, Gavin Ivey, Jonathan Ocasio, and Riley Pegram, a 4-way tie for 7th. As to who is gonna hold on to that spot, we will find out in a month's time when we go over to the Lorain, Ohio KartPlex. From all of us here at Kart Chaser, that concludes the coverage of our main event broadcast. Today, the Sunday has given us so much. So many stories, so much action. For myself, Caleb Vieska, from Bradley Dalton, from Cameron Reed, from everybody at the United States Pro Kart Series, everybody here at Kart Chaser, we thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you at the Berryco Post Race Show.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make weight. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
Macro Motorsports builds champions every day. Drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macromotorsports.net.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Motorsport.
Cut. You all right, man? You sound way off.
What?
I don't know. You sound like you're asleep still. Is the age finally getting to you? You're only how old? 42?
Dude, I'm 27. I'm not even 3 years older than you.
Well, that's pretty old. Well, that's 3 years away from Masters, dude. You need a little pick-me-up. Try a Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Do you walk around with these in your pockets?
I actually do. Always two. One for me and clearly one for you.
Whatever. Not that old, dude.
Did it help, though?
Yeah.
Pericazo. And you are that old.
Carson